I don't understand what reason there is, but the apocalypse suddenly struck, and a plague erupted, sweeping across the world in just 3 short days. The beautiful world that once was has turned into a hell on earth. This young man had not yet adapted to the current apocalyptic circumstances, so when a zombie charged at him, Duong Hao could only stand frozen in place, unsure of how to fight back. At that moment, he noticed a broom nearby. In a life-and-death situation, Duong Hao had no choice but to take a risk. He grabbed the broomstick and, with his eyes closed, thrust it towards the zombie. Fortunately, the zombie ran right into the broomstick and fell dead on the spot. Suddenly, glowing bubbles flew out from the zombie's head. They then formed into a notification window, congratulating the owner for receiving the attribute collection system, activating the master's table, and acquiring the strength attribute +1, speed +2, spirit +0.3. Duong Hao, an ordinary person, had strength 30 +1, an ordinary person, 50 speed 2 +2, an ordinary person 7 spirit 6 +0.3, an ordinary person 5. After reading through it, Duong Hao felt a tickle and didn't understand what was happening. With years of experience reading novels, he quickly realized this was the legendary system. He laughed out loud with joy. "Ha ha, indeed, the heavens have not destroyed me." However, because he laughed too loudly, a nearby zombie was attracted to him. Duong Hao, quick-witted, then took off running. But at that moment, he noticed something strange about his body. It seemed that he had clearly become stronger. While fleeing, Duong Hao brushed past several nearby zombie corpses. From the zombie corpses, glowing dots flew straight towards Duong Hao. The more he ran, the more he felt the changes in his body becoming stronger and stronger, indeed because of these glowing dots. The glowing orbs on the corpses were all excellent attribute points. It seems I can absorb them to enhance myself. Just as he was feeling happy, Duong Hao suddenly realized a group of zombies was chasing after him. How did it suddenly turn into a life-and-death train ride? I must quickly find the place to hide. Noticing a door in front of him was open, Duong Hao hurriedly ducked inside. Why did I attract so many zombies? Fortunately, they were not smart. Once inside, Duong Hao quickly found something heavy to block the door, successfully preventing the zombies outside. At that moment, he heard screams from within. Startled, he turned around and discovered a zombie lying on the ground. Its eyes rolled back towards him, looking extremely terrifying. Fortunately, its lower half was pinned down. This was the owner of the snack shop. Duong Hao breathed a sigh of relief, trying to stay calm, then used a nearby wooden chair to send the zombie on its way. "I'm sorry, shop owner, those 3 thugs earlier made me realize the apocalypse. I must not be weak-hearted and leave behind future troubles." It was unknown that after this zombie died, not only did it drop glowing dots, but also a red envelope appeared. It turned out these attribute glowing dots were all from zombies. After being killed, they were created. This time, a red envelope even dropped. Touching the red envelope, a notification suddenly appeared, received a stimulant pill that stimulates the body to its limits, instantly doubling strength. Reading through the description, Duong Hao easily recognized that the pill in his hand was a good item that could save his life at a crucial moment. Just as he was immersed in joy, Duong Hao was suddenly pulled back to the harsh reality by the sound of scratching at the door. The most important thing is to stock up on water. Without food, one can survive 7 days, but without water, only 3 days. Food should prioritize canned goods and biscuits with long shelf lives. Convenient to carry and practical as for weapons, he reluctantly found a hoe. He had to use this shelf to modify it with his knowledge. Duong Hao quickly found the necessary items just as the wall was being broken down by the zombies ramming their heads into it. Peeking inside, it must be said that the heads of these zombies were indeed too hard. Unlike last time, this time Duong Hao was fully prepared both in terms of equipment and mentality. He gripped the hoe tightly and swung it straight at the zombies, determined to find a way to survive. However, because the hoe was too dull, Duong Hao could only jab it a little, unable to kill the zombie outright. Nevertheless, he still received 1 attribute point for strength. Even if I don't kill the zombie, just attacking it will still drop attribute points. Knowing how the system works, Duong Hao excitedly swings the sword again and again. Finally, on the 253rd hit, the zombie's head was smashed and the reward burst forth with a red envelope and a treasure. At that moment, Duong Hao looked at his aching hand and smiled brightly. So it turns out that attacking zombies also drops attributes, but the score and the attribute points from a critical hit are nearly equal after taking a short break. Duong Hao checked the rewards he just received. This time, the red envelope dropped a combat skill and the treasure dropped 7 refined swords. These swords weigh 3 kilograms, are reinforced, and have an attack power increase of 50% strength +5 and speed -2. Holding the new weapon in his hand, Duong Hao felt invigorated. Now that he has the system, he can't stay here waiting to die anymore, so he decided to leave. "You 3 bastards, just wait for me. I'm coming to find you." Bullying my people and insulting my goddess, facing a horde of zombies, Duong Hao was no longer afraid, and gripped the treasure sword, charging forward with blazing determination. Meanwhile, on another side, 3 thugs, bored out of their minds, went outside to kill zombies and do some twisted things to ordinary people who caused them trouble. Now turned into zombies, they were free to be tortured by these thugs. While playing, they joked about how Duong Hao might have turned into a zombie, wishing for him to get another hit. Contrary to their expectations, Duong Hao was now chopping off zombie heads as easily as slicing bananas. Charging forward, he noticed the 3 thugs running towards him. Duong Hao quickly hid to the side, preparing to take revenge on those bastards who unexpectedly came to his door, saving him the trouble of searching. They talked big, but as soon as they saw the horde of zombies behind them, they immediately ran away. The zombies nearby had all been attracted over here. Letting them off the hook this time, those bastards shouldn't die so easily. While running, he opened the red envelope he had just earned. He learned the skill of a driver, mastering various vehicle driving skills and basic repair skills. This skill seemed useful for future escapes. After running for a while, Duong Hao unconsciously found himself in front of the female dormitory. As soon as she saw him, a woman immediately leaned out the window and shouted, "Duong Hao, why are you here? Get out of here quickly, you've attracted zombies over here." This woman was Duong Hao's superior Puong Tan Tan, the dormitory manager. Seeing this woman still alive annoyed Duong Hao a bit, and he remained still. Puong Tan Tan shouted, "Aren't you very close to that vixen Tai Jing? Go find her, she's in the dining hall." Upon hearing Tai Jing's name, Duong Hao froze. Seeing his expression, Puong Tan Tan was very pleased. Ha, the cowardly boy is scared stiff by the zombies, isn't he? Ignoring her shouts, just then 3 zombies attracted by the noise suddenly rushed over to attack. Duong Hao, unfazed, lightly swung the sword in his hand. Creating a sea of fire, he eliminated all the zombies that came close. Then he looked up and warned Puong Tan Tan, "You better keep your mouth shut. Do you believe I'll lead these zombies up to find you?" Witnessing this unbelievable scene, Puong Tan Tan's mouth dropped open in shock. When did this coward get so strong? At this moment, Duong Hao felt a bit hesitant due to the number of zombies approaching. Damn it, there were too many zombies attracted here by Puong Tan Tan. Even if he entered that building now, he would be cornered and killed. With no other choice, Duong Hao had to desperately run towards the nearby vehicle. Fortunately for the car owner in a hurry to escape the zombies, they left the keys here. There was no time to hesitate. Duong Hao slammed the gas pedal and sped away from here. Before leaving, he didn't forget to say goodbye to Puong Tan Tan, leaving her with the zombies at the door. She should be careful. Upon hearing this, Puong Tan Tan was furious. Sticking his head out of the window, he cursed Duong Hao. "You bastard!" Duong Hao, excited, ran over the zombies that were charging at him, gaining points as he went. This made him even stronger as the car sped down the road, crashing through the zombies and then slamming into a tree, creating a huge explosion just as the zombies had not yet arrived. Duong Hao hurried towards the principal's office. Fortunately, the zombies were all attracted by the sound of the explosion. After arriving safely, Duong Hao eagerly checked the red envelopes and the 2 rewards he had just received. He learned 3 major techniques, tightly wielding the axe and focusing his strength to defeat the enemy, receiving a half-kilogram titanium dagger with +3 strength, +1 speed, and double combat power. He received a 20-kilogram crescent axe made of refined copper with +12 strength and -5 speed. Duong Hao was very satisfied. He now had both long and short weapons. Perhaps in the future he could handle various situations by himself. For now, he would rest and prepare here for a night while observing the surroundings. Tomorrow he would act again. Suddenly, he sensed danger behind the door in front of him. Duong Hao cautiously approached and slowly opened the door, witnessing a shocking scene that left him speechless. These 2 people are not zombies. Why are they dead here? Carefully thinking, Duong Hao suddenly turned pale, drenched in sweat. He understood. No wonder there were no zombies in this building. Elsewhere, people had deliberately hung live people here as bait to lure the zombies. In just 3 days since the apocalypse, many people couldn't bear it and had perished. They were killing each other like this. These bastards are basically beasts. While Duong Hao was lost in thought, a shadow suddenly appeared from behind, pushing him into the room. "Ida, someone else has discovered this place. Then let's stay here forever." Before Duong Hao could react, he was locked inside the room, falling into the sights of the zombies. With no other choice, he had to draw his sword and fight back. He could only fight them. "If I can survive outside, I will kill all of you bastards." Meanwhile, in another location, a girl in tattered clothes was sitting on the ground, trembling with fear. Don't come here." The man showed no concern as he slowly approached her. "Dip Puong Hoa, you should listen to us. At first, we kept you here not for this right. Otherwise, we would have fed you to the zombies back then." Dip Puong Hoa's eyes filled with tears as she shouted, "Please spare me. If not, even if I become a zombie, I won't spare you." This man was named to Dong Chao, the honorary principal. He looked at Dip Puong Hoa, licking his lips lewdly. No, you don't have that chance. Right now, you only have 2 choices, either serve us all at once, or be played with by us in turns." The 3 men, armed and with lewd expressions, slowly advanced towards Dip Puong Hoa. Returning to Duong Hao's side, after a fierce battle, he had wiped out all the zombies. He sat on the ground, panting like a dog. "Is the system broken?" Since the beginning until now, no attribute points have been added. Countless bright dots flew straight towards him, and all statistics surged like a flood. Suddenly receiving a large amount of positive attributes, Hao felt like his body was about to explode. Screaming in pain, the system displayed a red warning. The owner's body is overloaded. The owner's body is overloaded. Seeing this, Duong Hao yelled and cursed. Damn, it can't be a pirated system, can it? The pain continued relentlessly, not knowing when it would stop. On the side, Diep Puang Hoa was being cornered by To Dong Chao, who constantly threatened her. Hurry up and take off your clothes. Or should we help you take them off one by one? Duong Hao burst through the door in a completely new form. Wow, you guys are making quite a scene. Seeing him, the group led by To Dong Chao still showed no fear. Who are you? Duong Hao asked back, full of vigor. Has no one recognized me yet? Your voice is very familiar. Principal To Dong Chao, huh? Upon recognizing Duong Hao, To Dong Chao broke out in a cold sweat mouth, agape in shock. Is that you? You're still alive? Internally, he was extremely panicked. With so many zombies, how did you manage to escape? Just a moment ago, you were a fat guy. Duong Hao didn't care, and walked straight towards Diep Puang Hoa. After confirming her condition, he was completely sure that this group was a bunch of beasts. Seeing Duong Hao pointing a knife at him, To Dong Chao fearfully retreated, continuously threatening, "You should know that I'm your leader." Duong Hao smiled friendly. This knife of mine has just chopped down several zombies, so it's a bit chipped. I wonder if it will chip when chopping a person. In his heart, he had made up his mind not to spare this group. Ever since he saw that room, say some nonsense to those who are hanging there. I will no longer be merciful. To Dong Chao immediately retreated behind his subordinates, brandishing a knife, and provocatively saying, "Then try it, but I'm afraid you won't have that chance." Following his command, two subordinates rushed to attack Duong Hao from both sides with the enormous attributes they had just absorbed. Duong Hao easily knocked both of them away without any difficulty. Your movements are too slow. Do you want to harm me? Do you want to die? He just kicked one in the face and unexpectedly received a bunch of attribute points. It turns out that hitting people also earns attribute points, and furthermore, the mental points were surprisingly high after dealing with the subordinates. Duong Hao looked at To Dong Chao and smiled. Principal, do you think I have a chance to try my knife now? To Dong Chao shouted loudly, "What, I don't believe you dare to chop me. I remember you now. You are Duong Hao, the one who came for the dormitory interview and was rejected. The interviewer said you had college dreams. I saw you had some skills, so follow me if you want money." But before he could finish his sentence, Duong Hao gave him a casual punch. Too much nonsense. I won't chop you because that would be too easy for you. Money, money, money. What do I need money for right now? One of the henchmen saw that things were not going well, so he ran to Diep Puang Hoa and shouted loudly, "Duong Hao, spare my life. I have nothing to do with this. They forced me to offer my girlfriend to them. These two lecherous guys threatened me with weapons. What could I do, Diep Puang Hoa? You are my girlfriend. Please say a few words for me. Do you want to see me get killed? Have you forgotten how well I treated you? I can't hold back any longer." Duong Hao grabbed his neck and lifted him into the air, ready to choke him to death. "What do you think your girlfriend is to you? Calling you a beast would be an insult to beasts." After throwing him back to To Dong Chao, he turned to grab the remaining guy by the head, saying, "You certainly aren't anything good either," fearing that the smell of blood would attract zombies. Duong Hao couldn't take action directly. He just grabbed the three guys and threw them outside. "Get lost!" Escaping from Duong Hao, the three of them trampled over each other and ran away, attracting the surrounding zombies with their screams and the notification of attribute points received. Duong Hao felt a bit regretful. Is that how easily they die? Too easy for you guys. After handling it, he walked towards Diep Puang Hoa and gently said, "Tron, and don't worry, they won't come to bother you anymore." Diep Puang Hoa trembled all over her gaze, vacant, as she looked at Duong Hao. Duong Hao, could you close the window? I'm scared." Duong Hao closed the window and asked, "Do you have any water? I'm thirsty. Please bring me some." Diep Puang Hoa was still trembling, holding a cup of water, slowly walking towards Duong Hao. Out of fear, she unconsciously imagined being scolded. "Why are you so slow? I just saved you. You should show a little gratitude." Duong Hao saw her in a daze and quickly reminded her, "Diep, don't be lost in thought." Suddenly startled, Diep Puang Hoa tripped and fell on Duong Hao, their first close contact. Duong Hao's face turned beet red and blood gushed from his nose. Diep Puang Hoa hurriedly stood up repeatedly, saying, I'm sorry, I panicked too much. Are you okay? You must be hungry. There's still food here, I'll go cook for you." Duong Hao at that moment was blushing, truly startled by those three scoundrels. But the feeling was not very clear. Being single for so long, just like that, he couldn't hold back anymore. Suddenly, Duong Hao heard a loud scream and hurriedly went in to check. Diep Puang Hoa was sitting on the ground looking at the door in front of her, shouting, "There's something banging against the wall in the storage room!" Before entering, Duong Hao carefully instructed, "Let me go check. You find some quick food for yourself. Don't worry about me. I'm not hungry," and entered the storage room. Duong Hao took out a blade from his belt, which he had received earlier when killing zombies in the conference room. This was a weapon with 20 slots for 20 weapons. It doesn't affect space and weight. Once prepared, Duong Hao moved towards the source of the noise and quickly dealt with the zombies. After finishing, Duong Hao was covered in blood. While taking off his clothes to shower, he mumbled to himself, I should shower first. It's been a while since the zombie outbreak, and I haven't showered because of those 3 scoundrels. Remembering that time made him go crazy. It was the apocalypse after all. It's even easier to die, considering that living is already not easy. But who told me to have a system, those 3 bastards? You guys are definitely dead. Ha ha ha, because I wasn't paying attention. Duong Hao just opened the bathroom door without knowing that Dep Puang Hoa was inside. Duong Hao, why didn't you knock before coming in? Dep Puang Hoa shouted while wrapping herself in a towel, hurriedly running outside, but suddenly remembered her things were still in the bathroom, so she had to awkwardly turn back the next morning. Duong Hao was sleeping soundly when he was awakened by a pleasant scent. As he opened his eyes, he saw the goddess Tai Kin standing beside him and quickly hugged her, saying, "It's great you're okay." By the time he realized it, he found himself hugging Dep Puang Hoa. Dep Puang Hoa, why is it you? I'm sorry just now, Duong Hao hadn't had the chance to explain when he saw Dep Puang Hoa mentioning Tai Kin excitedly grabbing her shoulders. Do you know her? Dep Puang Hoa blushed and shyly replied, she's my roommate. We rented a place outside the school. 3 nights ago, we were walking together in the school garden. But it seems she had something to do and went back early. After that, the epidemic suddenly broke out. Hearing this, Duong Hao's anger flared up as he punched the wall beside him. What does Puang Tan Tan want? Why did she say Tai Kin is in the cafeteria? Realizing he was a bit impulsive, he lowered his voice to calm down. Sorry I scared you. Let's go eat. I have to go out for a bit later. In his mind, he was thinking about what needed to be done, knowing that it was good for Tai Kin to go home at least safer than being here. He still had to go to the cafeteria. After all, he had seen those 3 bastards running there before. After finishing breakfast, Duong Hao carefully instructed, remember to close all windows tightly. Don't open for anyone except me. Dep Puang Hoa now regarded him as a support. Be careful, adjust your clothes. I will wait here for you to come back. After that, Duong Hao rushed straight towards the cafeteria. Even though there was a swarm of zombies in front of him, he still charged ahead. Looking for death, I'm so angry right now. This time, the reward he received was a crossbow and a basic spear skill, but right now, Duong Hao didn't have any spear in hand. What a waste. Just at that moment, a familiar laugh came from behind. Hey, Duong Hao, you're still not dead. Why did you lose weight? Did the zombies force you to lose fat? Ha ha ha, it's all your fault for opening the door downstairs and letting the zombies come in here. We still have to go out to find food. Quickly come over here. Get rid of all the zombies for me right now. Puang Tan Tan poked her head through the window, commanding arrogantly. Seeing Duong Hao's skills, she had a bad idea. He's not dead. Seems he really has some skills. She purposely shouted loudly to attract the surrounding zombies over here. He can only come up here. Foolish. You can only be my toy. Attracted by the noise, the nearby zombies rushed straight towards Duong Hao. Duong Hao gripped his knife tightly and charged towards the zombies. Puang Tan Tan, you foolish woman, it's you who forced me. If you keep luring more zombies over here to force me inside, then I can only play with you. Inside the building, the female students were extremely happy to see someone rushing in. Great, finally, someone has come to save us. Seeing this, Duong Hao shouted loudly, Are you girls running out here to seek death? Go back to your rooms. These female students really haven't experienced life. They don't even know who the opponent is and ran outside looking for Puang Tan Tan's room. Duong Hao casually eliminated a few zombies that appeared along the way. At this moment, Lisi rewarded him with a cooking skill which made Duong Hao a bit confused. What does this mean? Do they want me to be a chef in the apocalypse? Just then, Puang Tan Tan opened the door and stepped outside, saying, Not bad, take my bag and open a path for me to get out. I will reward you. She thought she was still in charge of Duong Hao. She could give orders as she pleased, but that was just her delusion. Duong Hao suddenly closed in, grabbing her by the neck and pushing her toward the window, saying, Let me send you on your way. Didn't you say Tai Jing was in the cafeteria? Puang Tan Tan now realized she was scared and continuously begged, I didn't mean to deceive you, I was just jealous of Tai Jing. I have no ill intentions toward you, she said, looking into Duong Hao's terrifying eyes. She knew he was not joking about killing. Taking this opportunity, Duong Hao settled old scores. No ill intentions, huh? Before you had the time to find me and cause trouble deducting my salary. What about that? Puang Tan Tan's face turned pale as she stammered. The other dorm managers flattered me a lot, but you didn't care about me, so I... While she was speaking, she suddenly wrapped her legs around Duong Hao, who was about to fall, and begged, Let me go. You can ask me to do anything. Duong Hao ignored her and let go, realizing she was just a selfish person who wanted to satisfy herself sacrificing others for her own vanity. Whether you have ill intentions or not, it's not enough to just say it. You have to experience it, like I said. Facing the line between life and death, Puang Tan Tan used all her strength to hold on to Duong Hao, saying, I'm sorry I was wrong. Please, I'm begging you. I really was wrong. I won't bully you anymore. Just then, a scream for help suddenly echoed from the window below. Now Duong Hao realized that a group of zombies was climbing up the wall directly toward him. He saw the dense horde of zombies below. They were getting closer and closer. Puang Tan Tan was extremely frightened, saying, I don't want to become like that. I really didn't expect to end up like this. I'm sorry. Her cries echoed throughout the building. Attracting the zombies to come closer, Duong Hao was very startled. How could the zombies get in here so quickly? The others in the building were in danger. Just as Phuong Tan Tan was about to be grabbed by a zombie, Duong Hao unexpectedly grabbed her by the neck and pulled her up, releasing her legs. Because of this action, Phuong Tan's face turned red and she began to think wildly while Duong Hao found her too annoying. After this, he would avoid her and face the approaching zombies. Duong Hao took out his weapon and began to slaughter, needing to protect the entrance to this building. If not, there would be no way to retreat. But Phuong Tan misunderstood that he was trying to protect her, so she shouted, "Duong Hao, I'm sorry, it was my fault before. I shouldn't have teased you. I'm sorry. Take me with you. I agree to make up for my mistakes." Hearing this, Duong Hao laughed, saying, "Don't make me laugh. I'm not so free as to care about you all day." After saying that, he hurriedly ran up the stairs while the zombies hadn't gathered too densely yet. "There are too many zombies. We need to get to the rooftop first to lure them up there. It will be more spacious." As for Phuong Tan, let her fend for herself. It will be more spacious, so let it self-destruct. Running up to the rooftop, Duong Hao carefully observed the situation below. There weren't many zombies behind the dormitory, so it seemed he wouldn't gain many attribute points. Forget it. Wait until the zombies in this building are dealt with. Going from this side should get to the cafeteria faster just in time. Phuong Tan suddenly hugged him from behind. "What are you doing?" Phuong Tan wouldn't let go and shouted, "I don't care, I'm sticking with you." At this moment, the zombies in the building had caught up. It was impossible to fight in this condition. Duong Hao decisively jumped towards the opposite building, using his sword and axe to dig into the wall to slow his fall, but unlike in the movies, this method was basically ineffective. At this rate, both of them would fall and be crushed. Suddenly, Duong Hao shouted, "Phuong Tan, scream! Why are you just standing there? Scream louder!" Even though she didn't understand what was happening, Phuong Tan decided to obey, using all her strength to scream as she saw the zombies gathering quite a bit. Duong Hao decisively jumped down. "Thank you for being my meat cushion. I will make you feel good after a bloody fight. The notification board has changed. Congratulations. The master has reached a spirit level of 50, unlocking the ability to retrieve items from a distance. Duong Hao's stats were strength 189.7, speed 54.6, spirit 50.4. After the last level up, the attribute points he received had decreased significantly. The skill he received this time was called Retrieve Items from a Distance, which seemed overpowered. Duong Hao couldn't help but want to test it immediately. He looked around. Then he aimed at Phuong Tan. With just one action, her shirt was lifted, causing her to scream, "Duong Hao, you pervert!" Duong Hao originally wanted to lift her entirely, but failed, blushing and turning his head away. His mental power wasn't enough, and he could only control light objects if he had escaped from the zombies. So let's stick to the original plan and head to the cafeteria. Take care of those three mutts. He had only taken a few steps when Phuong Tan rushed up to hug him from behind. "Don't leave me. Wherever you go, I'm going too." No matter how much Duong Hao cursed, she wouldn't let go. Frustrated, he used his strength to throw her to the ground. "Listen carefully, not killing you is already a lot of mercy. You'd better get far away from me." Phuong Tan lay on the ground, only able to cry, "Hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo." Now she realized Duong Hao's value, but it was too late. In the second-floor cafeteria, a guy named Lahuan Tien was wearing pants. After doing his business, he felt it was pointless in this damn era. Everywhere he went, it was all women. This young master was bored. Seeing the girl still crying, he angrily slapped her. "What the hell are you crying for if I weren't locked up here?" "I'm so bored. I would have thrown you all out long ago." The bodyguard next to him also acted arrogantly. "Why are you getting angry at them? Or should we go to the next storage room and bring some girls over to play?" Just then, Duong Hao broke through the window holding the steel spear he had just received. Seeing him, the bodyguard's mouth dropped open in shock. "You're that manager." It seemed he had met Duong Hao before. Looking at your recent actions, he was confused about why. "Damn, are you even human? This is the second floor?" If there's no way up, then how did he get here? Jumped up. But how could he still choose to threaten Teacher Duong at just the right moment? "We've already had enough fun here. You get us out of here. These two women will immediately let you enjoy. They are both top-notch." Duong Hao looked at him with disdain and only said one word, "Get lost." Hearing this, the bodyguard approached, thinking that if you could reach the second floor, you must have some ability. Flattering you a bit made you think you're really impressive, huh? Giving you a bit of face, but Duong Hao didn't want to waste words with this type. He directly took action. Just a light press on his shoulder made him kneel hard on the ground, breaking his knee. Seeing this, Lahuan Tien quickly ordered his subordinates to rush in and beat him to death. The other two bodyguards received the order and rushed in from both sides, but for Duong Hao, these ordinary people were no longer enough to fight. He only needed to use his bare hands to block their punches, twisting slightly, causing their arm bones to shatter into pieces. Seeing the three bodyguards fail, Lahuan Tien still dared to threaten that guy named Duong. "My dad is the principal of that school. You dare to hit my people. Do you think I can make you regret it? But he didn't get to finish his sentence before Duong Hao's spear pierced his chest. Trash shouldn't brag. Hearing the noise from inside the room, the survivors gathered to gossip about the situation. They're out, it's brutal, look at all that blood. 2 big bodyguards were taken down so easily. Seeing Duong Hao, the 3 thugs from before wore sinister smiles. Isn't that the fat guy who was the manager before? He doesn't seem the same as before. Interesting. They thought they could rely on their numbers and swaggered in front of Duong Hao thinking they were someone special. Does that fat guy still remember us? If he doesn't remember, I'll bring out our glorious photo for him to recall. Look at his cowardly appearance holding that torn spear like he just came back from plowing the fields. At this moment, La Huan Tian was being bandaged by the bodyguards. Otherwise, he would have been done for. La, don't get angry. There's noise outside. That bastard is probably going to face off against those 3 thugs again. At first, I saw those 3 beat zombies from the first floor up to the second. Hearing this, La Huan Tian smiled brightly, eagerly saying, "Help me out, I must see him get beaten." But as soon as he opened the door, he saw the 3 thugs lying on the ground, teeth and blood mixed together. How could this be? How could his speed be so fast? And he's so strong. In the blink of an eye, he knocked me down. Duong Hao held the spear pointed straight at them and said, "Now I want you to get out of here immediately." If not, the thug shouted loudly, "Now calling us out is like committing suicide. Duong Hao, it wouldn't be of any use for us to die for you, but if we live, we can help you fight zombies." The other survivors also spoke up. "That's right. Outside are all zombies. It's dangerous. They can still help. Didn't the teacher teach us to unite? There are zombies below. Aren't they trying to kill them by chasing them outside?" The thug, seeing he had many bodyguards, stood up and laughed triumphantly. "Ha! I don't believe you really dare to deal with us in front of so many people." But I'm not like that. Not knowing his place, he took advantage of Yang Hao's distraction to rush in and attack, but what he received in return was a punch to the mouth for being foolish. "Ha, talking reason with you guys. Did you forget about yesterday so quickly? I kindly kept you guys here, and you threw me outside to be eaten by zombies. Faced with countless zombies, why didn't you talk reason then?" The other 2 thugs had regained some strength. Grabbing a stick, they charged at you. At that moment, we just wanted to unleash your potential. If you don't know what's good for you, we'll unleash you again. You talk big, but neither of them is worthy of Yang Hao taking them seriously. You just swung your spear once. That already sent both of them crashing into the wall. After defeating these 3, Yang Hao gained a lot of zombie attribute points. The road was filled with low points, but defeating these 3 dogs gave such high attribute points. Just then, a female voice rang out, "Teacher Yang, temporarily spare them." Although they are bullies after they came here, they cleared out the zombies below, and we were temporarily safe. The men, upon seeing her, were drooling. It was the school beauty Guo Changyi, the goddess, making an appearance. Teacher Yang should show some respect. Unlike them, Yang Hao slowly approached Guo Changyi, coldly thrusting his spear right beside her. "Keep them here. In the end, the one who suffers is you." Just then, a system notification appeared congratulating the master for breaking through to 200 strength, receiving a body enhancement with a huge side effect. Seeing this, Yang Hao's eyes widened in shock. A huge side effect. Damn this damn system. Why say it so late? Before he could prepare, he lost consciousness and crashed into the wall, which was already weak. Immediately, it cracked and broke, causing Yang Hao to fall out of the building. In a daze, Yang Hao surprisingly grabbed Guo Changyi's hand, pulling her down with him. Seeing this, Huan Tian and his subordinates laughed triumphantly. "Weren't you strong just now? Why did you faint? Dying would be better. Dare not to show respect to La Huan Tian. You are looking for death." On the first floor, Yang Hao woke up with a headache, feeling like millions of needles were stabbing into his body. "It hurts like hell. Is this body enhancement? Guo Changyi, what is she doing with her spear?" Teacher Yang Hao woke up and Guo Changyi panicked. "Teacher Yang, you're awake. I'm afraid we are more likely to be in trouble." Yang Hao then realized he had been protected from the moment he fell until now. Suddenly, a zombie attacked Guo Changyi from behind, and Yang Hao immediately embraced her. He took down the zombie in an instant. "Leave the rest to me." This heroic demeanor made Guo Changyi's heart race, her face flushed. On the second floor, La Huan Tian was eagerly watching the drama unfold. "You bastard daring to hit me this time, you're definitely dead." "Ha ha ha, weren't you so strong just now? Come here and hit me again." Suddenly, both of them were kicked down by some dog who dared to harm me. I saw a familiar face, Duong Hao, enthusiastically greeting me. It seems someone just called out wanting me to hit them. I reluctantly have to deal with you guys. And the one who knocked these 2 down is none other than the thug Duong Hao, who is definitely going to take care of the other 2. Once that's done, this place will be our territory. Guo Shengyi still misunderstands, not realizing that they helped Duong Hao understand these people, so of course they don't believe it. Helping me, it's just dogs biting dogs. While speaking, Duong Hao suddenly felt a murderous intent and lunged towards Guo Shengyi. She was caught off guard and couldn't react in time. But it turned out that Duong Hao's target was the zombie. Don't let your guard down behind you. And just call me Duong Hao. Having saved her life multiple times, Guo Shengyi reached out and expressed her gratitude, thanking Duong Hao. However, Duong Hao misunderstood her intention and handed her a short dagger. Need a weapon. Here you go, deal with the zombies head-on for me. If any slip through, I'll count on you. Before Guo Shengyi could say anything, Duong Hao jumped into the middle of the zombies. Why does my body still hurt so much after the enhancement? Moreover, the feeling isn't stronger than before. I have to win quickly against them. After fighting for a while, Duong Hao suddenly noticed something unusual. The zombies were no longer falling under the light bridge like before, but now is not the time to pay attention to this. Duong Hao needed to finish off these zombies. The faster the better. Just then, Guo Shengyi shouted loudly, "Duong Hao, I'm here to help you!" I didn't expect this slender girl to have such great strength. The two leaned against each other, resisting the zombie siege. The survivors on the second floor started cheering, "Incredible, she truly is a goddess." Even the way she kills zombies is beautiful. Not to mention the goddess comes from a martial arts family. She has been practicing national martial arts since childhood, and her weapon skills are top-notch. Suddenly, the ground shook violently as a giant zombie slowly approached Duong Hao from afar. This group of zombies feels different from before. I can't let them hurt Guo Shengyi. Immediately, he grabbed the spear and charged in, launching a surprise attack. Unlike other zombies, this giant zombie knew how to cover its vital spots and block the spear thrust. Not only that, but it also broke the spear with its hand, causing Duong Hao to lose his weapon and realize this zombie was a tough opponent. Duong Hao frowned in annoyance, thinking about how to fight it. Just then, Guo Shengyi unexpectedly pulled him back. "Duong Hao, be careful you don't have a weapon. Let me face the horde of zombies." Guo Shengyi was fearless. With her hand gripping the dagger tightly, the zombies wouldn't back down just because of her presence. The giant zombie raised its fist and attacked directly at Guo Shengyi. Duong Hao immediately sensed the danger. This was not a zombie Guo Shengyi could handle. "I'm not the kind of man who hides behind women." Without hesitation, Duong Hao jumped up and charged straight at the zombie, wielding a Titan sword. Just received. After a fierce battle, the giant zombie was defeated this time. Duong Hao realized that zombies would continue to evolve, becoming stronger and scarier. This time, the zombie also didn't drop anything, leaving Duong Hao a bit confused. Duong Hao realized that zombies would not stop evolving, becoming stronger and scarier. This time, the zombie continued to not drop anything, which left Duong Hao a bit confused. After handling everything, he turned to Guo Shengyi to ask about the situation. Guo Shengyi immediately blushed. Yang Hao was just an ordinary person before, not worth paying attention to. Who would have thought he would be so formidable now? Meanwhile, Yang Hao, oblivious to the romantic atmosphere, wondered why he was being stared at like that. At this moment, Yang Hao increasingly felt that something was wrong with his body. He needed to act quickly, so he instructed Guo Shengyi to step back while he advanced alone to eliminate the zombies. Meanwhile, 3 thugs had descended to the first floor, quietly hiding behind 2 people watching him gasp for breath, wondering if he was about to collapse. Let's take advantage of this moment to go. They ignored Guo Shengyi charging straight at Yang Hao with knives. Guo Shengyi immediately shouted, "What do you want to do, Yang Hao? Get out of the way!" But caught off guard, Yang Hao couldn't dodge in time. The zombies took advantage of his distraction to rush forward and attack, forming a pincer movement. At that moment, a system notification appeared indicating the start of the final body transformation phase. The system space activated, suddenly pulling Yang Hao into the system space. He narrowly avoided the attack, but the thug was not so lucky. The zombie lunged at him, biting into his neck, while Guo Shengyi was also knocked down by the wave of zombies struggling to resist. At this point, Yang Hao found himself in a transparent sphere. Suspended in the void, he helplessly shouted from afar, Guo Shengyi, damn it!" This sphere separated him from the outside. She couldn't hear or see him. The others witnessed the entire event, but had no intention of helping, only discussing Yang Hao's sudden disappearance. "Did you see that? Just now, Yang Hao suddenly vanished." "That's right, if you hadn't said it, I would have thought I was seeing things." "What on earth is going on?" After a struggle, Guo Shengyi finally reached for the knife on the ground and stabbed it through the zombie's neck, shouting, "Get away! Get away!" Realizing she had been careless and bitten, she immediately resolved to end her own life. Before turning into a zombie, Guo Shengyi cried and prepared to act when Yang Hao pulled her into the sphere. To others, she suddenly disappeared just like Yang Hao did moments ago. The enemy goddess has disappeared too. It can't be that some dimensional space has opened up, can it? At this moment, a notification appeared in the sphere about the body transformation. Assistance from a hetero type is needed. If the conditions are met, should the transformation begin. Suddenly, they found themselves in a strange place. Guo Shengyi was extremely panicked. "Yang Hao, what is this? Where is this?" Not revealing the system, Yang Hao silently asked in his mind if the system could help eliminate the virus after the transformation. According to the system, after the body transformation, the virus would be completely eradicated, but Guo Shengyi was unaware of this. She kept screaming, wanting to leave. To avoid becoming a zombie and harming Yang Hao, he prepared himself mentally and spoke to reassure her, "Don't be afraid. I have a way to save you, but you need to cooperate with me later. Although it was difficult to explain at the moment, please trust me." Guo Shengyi, though confused, accepted to trust him. Suddenly, both of their clothes disappeared. This made Guo Shengyi blush deeply. After that, the system proceeded with the body transformation, and the two of them became entwined together. After a while, the sphere disappeared and Yang Hao reappeared. With impressive gear on him holding the beauty in his arms, he received the Glen Battle Armor, reducing damage taken by 30%, and received the Glen Battle C, enhancing his jump ability for a short time. Enhancing the 7 gem-encrusted swords increases fire attribute damage. Not only that, you also receive a new title, the Guardian, with the reward being a healing space. The achievement system has also been unlocked, revealing 2 objectives that have been completed. Duong Hao pondered that the previous rewards seemed to have been obtained thanks to this achievement. To obtain additional rewards, one must think of ways to unlock new achievements. However, thinking back, this doesn't seem to have any effect. Let's deal with it later. Right after that, Duong Hao and Ko Tan Yi reappeared looking at the group on the 2nd floor, and Duong Hao felt extremely disappointed. The rich kids only know about girls. They are basically worthless to protect. Now that Ko Tan Yi is still weak, leaving her here would be even more dangerous. It's better to take her back to where Diep Puong Hoa is. Before leaving, he casually sent off the thug who had turned into a zombie. Just as the two had taken a few steps, the people on the 2nd floor shouted loudly, "Teacher Duong, don't take the goddess away. Without her, who will protect us?" "That's right, if you're leaving, why not take us with you?" Duong Hao glanced at them and coldly replied, "Sorry, I'm not the savior. Your lives and deaths have nothing to do with me. Besides, there are too many of you. Following me will only lead to a quicker death. You might as well wait here for rescue." Hearing this, the crowd was dissatisfied, shouting, "Yeah, only know how to save the beauty. What about us?" They thought he was different from those rich kids. Now it seems he is just the same, wishing for him to go outside and get bitten by zombies. What good is it for selfish people like him to live in society? I really have no words for these people. Ko Tan Yi could no longer listen. She snatched the sword from Duong Hao's hand and looked up at the 2nd floor where a group of cowards lacked the courage to face the zombies. They only knew how to resent those around them. She threw the sword straight at them and shouted, "What are you angry about? The zombies downstairs have been cleared for you. If you have the guts, take the sword and go kill the zombies. If you don't have the guts, just wait there and shout angrily for whom?" The boys who were hit by her words fell silent for a moment and looked at each other. "What are you looking at me for? I'm not going out there to throw my life away." "That's right, we should stay here and wait for rescue. It's safer until this moment." Still, no one was willing to go outside to find a way to survive. They only knew how to rely on others. After venting her frustration, Ko Tan Yi took Duong Hao's hand and left. Her previous actions had succeeded. Leaving a good impression in Duong Hao's mind, Ko Tan Yi indeed dared to speak and act. She was a person of great character. Upon returning, Diep Puong Hoa excitedly opened the door. But upon seeing Ko Tan Yi, she felt a bit awkward. Duong Hao introduced her, saying, "This is Ko Tan Yi, our new teammate. We'll discuss details inside." Just as they stepped inside, Puong Tan suddenly rushed over and hugged Duong Hao. "Duong Hao, I told you not to abandon me," Diep Puong Tan explained after she found out it was safe here. "She always put on a pitiful look to get me to open the door for her. I couldn't bear it, so I opened the door, and after coming in, I was tricked into revealing everything about you. There was no other way." Duong Hao could only accept this situation. While the two were struggling outside, a loud noise suddenly rang out, and immediately everyone ran outside to check the situation. "Did you hear gunshots? Could it be that the military sent someone to rescue us?" Hearing this, Puong Tan was overjoyed. "Great, it must be my dad coming to save me." She was so happy that she let go and fell to the ground. Luckily, Duong Hao was strong enough to catch her leg in time. "I told you to come down early." "You just love to cling on so much, Puong Tan. Now aren't you hugging someone's leg? I can't go up or down at all." Duong Hao no longer cared about her, instructing everyone to prepare a bit before heading to the source of the gunfire. Puong Tan lay on the dirty ground. Seeing Ko Tan Y covered in dirt, she suggested they take a shower together. Hearing this, Diep Puong Hoa was delighted at the prospect of being alone with Duong Hao, but Puong Tan unexpectedly pulled her back. Asking about showering together, Diep Puong Hoa was puzzled. "I feel like Duong Hao is always on guard and has a natural hostility towards others. Do you two know why?" Mentioning this issue, Puong Tan felt guilty. "I know a little about that. His behavior is partly related to my attitude towards him. When he first arrived at school, he was very cheerful and helpful to others, but those memories seemed to flood back into her mind." Late at night, 2 male students continuously knocked on the dormitory door, asking the supervisor to open it. They promised they wouldn't come back late again, explaining that they had helped an elderly woman who had fallen by the road, which made them late. Out of sympathy, Duong Hao opened the door for the two of them. The next day, Puong Tan unexpectedly knocked on the door with a security guard as a student reported that a computer was missing from the dorm room. They saw him on the surveillance camera. "Last night, some people who were not students of this school entered. Quickly explain what happened." Before Duong Hao could explain anything, he was taken away. Although everything was investigated and found to be unrelated to Duong Hao, his reputation suffered as a result. In the end, everyone regarded him as a bad person, continuously making things difficult for Puong Tan, who had come to apologize, but she didn't expect it to affect her so much. After hearing the story, Diep Puang Hoa angrily reproached her, saying it was too much. How could they blame him without a thorough investigation? No wonder he hates you so much. Ko Tan Wai stepped forward and slapped Puang Tan Tan. Puang Tan Tan shouted, "Why did you hit me? I didn't want to frame him. I just wanted him to explain clearly to the police, and besides, I already apologized to him." Ko Tan Wai then lectured her, making her understand how much she had hurt him before. A simple apology cannot make up for that. It's a shame he even saved you. If you have any conscience left, you should sincerely atone for your sins. The scene shifted as Tan Wai led Puang Hoa and Tan Tan to the room where Duong Hao was resting. The beauty of the three girls was enough to make anyone who saw them feel a pang in their heart. Tan Wai spoke up. "Sorry we took up too much of your time." Tan Tan shyly turned her face away. She covered one swollen cheek with her hand and lied. "Don't look over here. My face just got burned. It's really ugly." She covered her mouth, her cheeks flushed, wondering if it was real or fake. "Burned is one thing, but why are you blushing?" He coughed lightly and replied, "It's not urgent, Puang Tan Tan. I have something I want to ask you." She immediately leaned into the chair next to Duong Hao, gently wrapping her arm around his, her eyes sparkling. "Oh, so you want to ask me what do you want to know? As long as I know, I will tell you." Puang Hoa and Tan Wai's faces darkened. Both girls were angry, envious of her. Duong Hao gently touched Tan Tan's forehead and said, "You don't need to get so close. I just wanted to ask earlier when I heard gunfire, why did you say your dad came to save you?" She crossed her arms and confidently replied, "Because my dad Puang Trong Duk is a colonel. With the outside situation being so dangerous, he must have sent someone to rescue us." Tan Wai and Puang Hoa were speechless upon hearing this. No wonder she was so arrogant. It must be that he sent someone to save us. Tan Wai and Puang Hoa hearing this were left speechless. No wonder she was so arrogant. So it turns out that the spoiled young lady Tan Wai suddenly came up with an idea. Why not take this opportunity? Let's introduce ourselves again so both sides can understand each other better. Puang Hoa nodded in agreement, exuding a confident demeanor, then introduced herself. "Let me go first. I come from a martial arts family, so for now I can consider myself capable of protecting myself. I hope that in the future we can support each other in searching for our families." Next is Puang Hoa, who shyly introduced herself. "I am a teaching assistant who just graduated and stayed at the school for work. If it weren't for Duong Hao saving me, I wouldn't have made it through my life." "I'm afraid," he said, standing up and patting her shoulder to comfort her. "Don't think about the unhappy things anymore. Let the past sleep." She blushed and obediently replied, "Okay." After that, Duong Hao also began his introduction. "I am a dormitory manager. My parents are farmers and I have always had a dream of going to college. So besides work, I will self-study, hoping to pass the college entrance exam one day." The image of the entire city being engulfed in flames flashed in his mind, and his expression suddenly turned serious. "I just didn't expect the apocalypse to come so suddenly. Next, I want to find Tai Kin. She is the person I care about the most in this city. Then I will scout the situation on the way. Clearly, I will go home to find my parents." Duong Hao whispered, "I want you girls to have your own arrangements while the army hasn't arrived yet. Think carefully." Puang Hoa secretly glanced at Tan Wai, thinking to herself, if I had the ability like Tan Wai, I could be by Duong Hao's side to help him instead of being a burden. He turned and left, not forgetting to remind and encourage the girls, "All right, before the rescue army arrives, everyone should rest first. At this moment, maintaining morale and health is the most important." The sky, which was bright blue, had quietly turned to night. The scene shifted to the principal's dormitory. Duong Hao was lying lazily on the bed, holding his phone, his eyes glued to the screen without a second's distraction, even as he was still feeling anxious. He was constantly worried about his parents. The phone had no signal, and he didn't know how they were doing. "My parents in the countryside are probably quite safe," he thought, when suddenly a dark figure appeared right behind him, stealthily slipping into the bed and hugging him. Duong Hao then realized quickly, sitting up and turning around decisively. The person was immediately pinned down, their arm twisted behind their back, face pressed into the pillow, unable to move. Duong Hao shouted, "Who?" At that moment, he clearly saw and recognized it was Tan Tan. He asked in confusion, "Why is it you?" Tan Tan, being restrained, lay still and hurriedly explained, "It's me. I'm here to atone for my sins. Let's talk." Duong Hao released her and replied, "I have nothing to say to you. You can go." Tan Tan sadly asked, "Do you hate me that much?" He stood up, pulled the door open, and bluntly replied, "Yes, you challenged my limits 5 times and 7 times. If it weren't for the danger outside, I would have thrown you out already." Tan Tan pouted, saying, "Can't you give me a chance to apologize?" She appeared hesitant and slowly explained, "I know I have done many wrong things to you, so you hate me a lot, but I truly know I was wrong. Especially after you not only calculated against me, but also saved me." Tan Tan blushed and requested, "So as long as you can forgive me, I will do anything you ask." After hearing that, Duong Hao was speechless. His hand unconsciously punched the door, causing it to crack. At that moment, his mind was only questioning one small thing. "Did you take the wrong medicine or something?" Then Duong Hao spoke up, "You don't need to be like this. Then Duong Hao spoke up, saying she didn't need to do that. Although I hate her, I only hate her stubborn and arrogant demeanor. Just don't be like that in the future. Anyway, just don't cause me any more trouble. I have already thanked the heavens enough. I also don't ask for anything more. Suddenly, a loud knocking on the door broke the awkward atmosphere between the two as Than Wai and Puang Hoa burst in. She hurriedly announced that Duong Hao from the army had arrived. Duong Hao opened the door and looked down. A sound came from the army nearby, and the living were coming to rescue us. Below the door, amidst the booming gunfire, the army was working hard to eliminate the ferocious zombies. After thinking for a moment, Duong Hao quickly asked the girls, "All right, where are you going? You must have a plan, right?" Puang Hoa avoided his gaze and replied, "I'm just following the army for support." In her heart, she thought that following Duong Hao would only drag him down. Than Wai suggested, "Duong Hao, why don't you come with me? After finding Tai Kin, don't we have to go rescue her? It's just on my way." He disagreed with the suggestion and replied, "You should go with them to the assembly point first. I can go alone. Ultimately, finding Tai Kin is my personal matter, or should I wait until I find Tai Kin and then look for you to set off together?" Than angrily threw a pillow at him. "Hey, do you want to be a hero all by yourself? Do you think you're the main character in a web novel? Everyone is very worried about you. You should come with us. I will ask my dad to send some people to help find Tai Kin." Duong Hao caught the pillow with a cold expression. "No need to waste manpower, I'm enough on my own. Moreover, the sooner we search, the higher Tai Kin's chances of survival will be." She pouted and scolded. "How can I make up for my mistakes like this? I appreciate your good intentions, but there's no need to go that far." He approached Puang Hoa and asked, "I remember you were with Tai Kin. Do you know where she eventually went?" She quickly recounted to him. Before she left, she said she was going home to her brother's house. The address is number 233 Tung Q Villa. Than Wai worriedly asked, "Can you go alone from here?" "It's an hour's drive from Tung Q Villa. What if you encounter zombies?" Duong Hao put on his jacket to reassure her. "Don't worry, nothing will happen." Tan still sat on the bed, puffing her cheeks, showing jealousy and admiration for Tai Kin, who could get Duong Hao's attention like that. Puang Hoa replied to think that at his weakest, Duong Hao only cares about Tai Kin. She fell into deep thought, silent for a moment, then wondered, why does Duong Hao care about her so much? But at that time, I saw her leave the school with a man of the same age. The situation outside was very chaotic, with fires blazing from the apartments and smoke billowing. Meanwhile, on the ground, a horde of zombies was rampaging. Duong Hao was crossing the rooftops alone. He excitedly praised himself. "I'm so smart. On the rooftop, there are hardly any zombies just walking on the rooftops without any issues." Than Wai, along with Puang Hoa and Tan, followed the army out of this chaotic place. Than Wai, along with Puang Hoa and Tan, followed the army out of this chaotic place. The soldiers with guns are patrolling the path. They keep shouting instructions for everyone to stay close and not get left behind, the sound of gunfire echoing throughout the quiet neighborhood, the reverberations lingering on the window panes. A slight shiver runs through a small alley where bodies and zombies lie scattered across the path. The living zombies frantically tearing into the corpses. Lying dead on the ground, the arm of one of the zombies suddenly undergoes a transformation. It stops tearing at the corpse and turns to look back as another zombie appears behind it. With its mouth wide open like 5 petals of a flower, it swallows its fellow zombie whole in one bite, its skin stretching as the muscles on its body begin to bulge. It stands still for the long moment after eating the previous zombie. Its body suddenly swells, bulging muscles forming as its massive hands grip the stone wall. The zombie breaks through to a new height, transforming into a giant mutated zombie with a mouthful of razor-sharp teeth as the sky begins to brighten. After a terrifying night filled with chaos, the first faint light gently weaves through the white clouds at the Tung Q Villa. Duong Hao looks up at the villa. He stands at the door, thinking for a moment, wondering if Tai Kin is inside. He then approaches and knocks on the door, calling out loudly, "Is anyone there?" He freezes, remembering the image of Tai Kin, feeling a bit anxious, wondering if she would recognize him. "If she's not here, should I go ahead and look for her?" A voice interrupts Duong Hao's thoughts. "Someone get out of here, be careful, I'll kill you." Hearing the voice, he is startled, thinking about who it could be. The door slowly opens, and Tran, holding a baseball bat, immediately sees Duong Hao waiting. He speaks up, asking, "What are you doing here?" He is wide-eyed with surprise. Then Tran joyfully rushes over and hugs him tightly. "Duong Hao, my brother, why have you lost so much weight?" Tran places both hands on his shoulders, and Duong Hao replies that he can't explain it clearly at the moment. "On the contrary, it's you. Why are you at Tai Kin's house? Where is she?" He ignores Duong Hao's question and hurriedly asks about the many zombies outside. "Why did you run over here?" Duong Hao answers, "Fortunately, I didn't encounter any zombies on the way. Is Tai Kin here?" He turns to go back inside, replying, "Yes, she's inside with me." Duong Hao wonders if Tai Kin is really here. Tran opens the door to the room and politely calls out, "Tai Kin, we're coming in." But Tai Kin lies silently on the bed, showing no signs of movement. He quickly explains, "Her brother is sick. We took care of him all night, and she just fell asleep." Tran enters the room calling out, "Tai-kin, wake up and see who's here." Seeing her like this, Duong Hao immediately stops him. "No, don't wake her, let her rest." He agrees, all right. Duong Hao curiously questions him. "Tran, tell me, how did you all get through the zombie outbreak?" "Why are you staying with Tai-kin?" Tran shows surprise at the question, hesitating. His expression darkens as Duong Hao raises his voice. "Answer me." "Stop beating around the bush," Tran stammers. "Actually, I've known her for a long time." "And Tai-kin brought me here." "Then there's Tai-kin. She brought me here." Duong Hao angrily asked if he was your best brother in school. "Why did he deceive me by saying you didn't like her questions arose in your heart? Why is that? You were disappointed and turned to leave." "I should leave so as not to disturb your world, then Tran Bak spoke up to stop you." "Duong Hao, wait, stay here. There are so many zombies outside. It's very dangerous for you to go out alone." Duong Hao coldly replied, "I can handle it myself. You don't need to worry this time. I just want to see if Tai-kin is safe or not. If you are there to protect her, then I can rest easy." He suddenly said, "That's right. Duong Hao, Tai-kin is preparing something for you. Do you want to see it first and decide?" Duong Hao curiously asked what it was as Tran Bak led you to a room. He opened the door. Duong Hao wondered what it was. Tran Bak opened the door and called you. "It's on the table inside. You can take a look yourself." The room had no light at all. You walked in and looked around. It was too dark to see anything. Duong Hao turned back and asked, "Where's the light switch? It's too dark to see clearly." His face suddenly darkened, looking very scary. Tran Bak stuffed his mouth and replied, "You can find it yourself slowly inside." Then he slammed the door shut, locking Duong Hao inside. He leaned against the door, satisfied, and shouted, "Stupid, who cares about you as a brother? Speaking nonsense, you must know that I have put in a lot of effort to get close to her brother before the zombie outbreak, just as she came to meet her brother." Tran Bak went crazy after the zombie outbreak, turning her brother into a zombie wanting to have fun with her, and you came to delay my good thing. If I don't kill you, I will be very uncomfortable, so obediently stay inside and let her brother Tai-kin eat you. After saying that, he excitedly laughed, but before he could laugh for long, the door behind him was suddenly pushed open with great force. Her brother Tai-kin had now turned into a zombie. Standing at the door looking at Tran Bak, Duong Hao shouted, "I consider you a brother and you want to kill me." You grabbed the zombie by the neck and pushed it close to him, saying, "I forgot to tell you. I have killed over 100 zombies. Just one zombie is not enough for me to play with." Tran Bak knew he was no match for Duong Hao, so he planned to make peace, knowing he was that powerful. If he couldn't deal with him, then make peace first and think of a way to handle him. He stepped forward softly, pretending to be innocent. "Duong Hao, you misunderstood." "Listen to me!" Duong Hao, not letting brotherly feelings cloud his mind, directly released the zombie. "Sorry, I no longer trust you. Let him talk to you instead of me." Tran Bak fearfully backed away. "Don't come over here." His screams echoed throughout the house. Tran Bak's screams accidentally woke Tai-kin, who had her mouth taped shut by him, waking up from her daze with a headache. What happened outside? It's so noisy. A hand rushed in, pulling the blanket off her, startling her. Hidden under that pure white blanket was Tai-kin's fair body, tightly bound by a rope. Duong Hao saw that scene and understood indeed that bastard Tran Bak. She vaguely looked at you. "Is this face?" Duong Hao removed the tape from her mouth. Tai-kin shed tears, surprised, asking, "Are you Duong Hao?" You replied, "That's right. Now I will untie the rope binding you." Her hands and feet were quickly removed by him as Tai-kin sat up, looking at him with confusion, asking why he had become so tall and strong. He merely replied casually that this was a long story. Tai-kin became furious, clenching her fists and saying that she would deal with that psychotic beast. "Right now, I just want to throw him down to the 18 levels of hell over here." Uncle was frantically using a large rock to continuously smash the zombie's face, cursing the useless zombie as he fought. "Duong Hao biting me, huh? Tran Bak had been bitten by the zombie on his arm, and he was slowly turning into a zombie. Each blow he dealt was accompanied by curses. Damn it, I was so close to having a good time with Tai-kin. Everything was ruined by that bastard Duong Hao. If it's like this, I will make you all die with me right then." Tai-kin and Duong Hao ran out, and when she saw that scene, she held him back, calling out to him. Tai-kin was in tears, angrily shouting that the bastard Tran Bak would pay in blood. At that moment, he turned his face back, and Tran Bak's face had completely transformed into a zombie. He stood up and charged towards her. Tai-kin was shocked. He had turned into a zombie. While she was distracted, suddenly, a blade flew straight from behind Tai-kin, and she stood there in shock as the blade pierced straight into Tran Bak's body. He was forcefully thrown against the door behind him. Duong Hao placed a hand on Tai-kin's shoulder. She thought he was trying to stop her and coldly spoke up. "Duong Hao, don't stop me." He handed Tai-kin the dagger, which was small but very sharp, and replied, "I'm not stopping you. I'm giving you the dagger." Tai-kin took the dagger and then unleashed all her rage, seeking revenge for her brother. Tai-kin continuously stabbed the dagger into Tran Bak's head, tears streaming down her face, but she had no intention of sparing him. "You worthless bastard, even if you turn into a zombie, I won't spare you." She questioned Tran Bak, asking why he had deceived her and what he had done to her brother, that bastard. Tai-kin regretted it. She blamed herself, thinking she shouldn't have brought him back. Suddenly, Duong Hao spoke up, calling her name. Tai-kin, he wrapped his arms around her, comforting her, saying it was okay, it was over now. It's all over now. If you want to cry, just cry. Tai-kin immediately dropped the dagger in her hand, crying out loud in the warm embrace of Duong Hao. The scene shifted to the two of them in the backyard of the villa, where they had carefully buried her brother's body. Then they made a small grave for him. She knelt before her brother's grave, sobbing, "Brother, I'm sorry for causing you harm. If it weren't for me bringing Tran back, you would have been avenged by Duong Hao. Rest in peace." He continued to comfort her, saying that Tran Bak was too difficult to guard against. It wasn't her fault. She needed to hold back her grief, saying, "That's right, Tai-kin. How did Tran Bak get to your house?" Tai-kin recounted the events before the apocalypse. Her brother had been sick and asked her to bring him medicine. On the way, they met Tran Bak, who said he also wanted to visit her brother. Little did she know that this beast would come close and pat her head, saying it was okay. "It's over now. I'm here. No one can harm you anymore." Tai-kin blushed and asked Duong Hao, "Thank you for saving me. Did you come here because of me? Moreover, why have you suddenly become so tall and strong?" Duong Hao scratched his head and replied, "You helped me before, so it's only natural that I save you. As for the changes, that's a bit hard to explain." Tai-kin, understanding, didn't press him further. Duong Hao definitely had some secret. But since he didn't want to talk, she wouldn't ask anymore. Suddenly, her face flushed as she shyly asked Duong Hao, "Actually, you came here to save me because you like me, right?" Duong Hao was surprised by this question, taken aback by her sudden inquiry. Tai-kin leaned closer to him, resting against Duong Hao, playfully asking, "Could it be that you don't like me?" He awkwardly replied, "No, I don't mean that," after a moment of hesitation. So Duong Hao decided to express his feelings. "Actually, I have always liked you at school. Only you didn't look down on me and treated me like a normal student." Tai-kin fidgeted with her fingers and then replied, "Really, actually, I have always noticed your silly and honest appearance. It was really adorable before." She tiptoed closer to Duong Hao, confessing her feelings. "Duong Hao, actually, I also like you." The distance between the two gradually closed, and Tai-kin gently gave him a sweet kiss. The surrounding space became calm, filled with indescribable romance in the dim light of the room. Under the bed were two pairs of slippers scattered messily. On the bed, the two were intimate, their hands tightly clasped together. They were close and intertwined not only physically, but also by an invisible and sincere bond. After everything was done, Tai-kin lay next to Duong Hao, hugging him to express her gratitude. "Duong Hao, thank you for coming such a long way to find me and helping me take revenge." She happily said that the feeling of being protected by someone else was really good. That's right. She suddenly remembered that he hadn't eaten anything yet, so Tai-kin stood up and turned to go to the kitchen. "Since yesterday, you probably haven't eaten anything. You must be hungry. I'll cook for you." Just a few steps in, she suddenly slipped and fell hard to the ground. Duong Hao panicked and sat up worriedly, asking Tai-kin, "Are you okay? How did you fall? Are you hurt?" She felt a bit awkward and shyly replied, "I'm fine. It's just that my actions felt faster than I expected." Duong Hao approached her, curious if Tai-kin's body had changed because of being with him. Could this system have such unexpected functions? He spoke up to clarify what was going on, but suddenly Tai-kin was lifted by a strong force. Duong Hao carried her in his arms and happily said, "Sorry, one more time, my love." She blushed and scolded, "You annoying." The night had fallen, and a group of thugs and robbers headed to the villa where Duong Hao was staying with Tai-kin. They wondered among themselves about the Tungkyu villa. Duong reported confidently, "Yes, this is where the rich live. There must be a lot of supplies for us to rob." Long Dao warned, "But be careful. There must be a lot of zombies here," he ordered the thugs. "Everyone split up and search, but be safe." After that, Ta Hu Yen and Duong reported along with Chok Ka and Chok Dae scattered around to search. Chok Ka saw a zombie biting a power pole. He found it funny and loudly called Long Dao, "Look at this. This zombie seems crazy. It's starting to bite concrete." Then another guy shouted, "There's also a zombie over here. It's eating a refrigerator." He was astonished. "Zombies usually only eat people. These ones can eat concrete and refrigerators." Long Dao yelled, ordering, "Shut up, everyone, run, run." Chok Ka not at all scared. When he saw the zombie charging at him, he mocked, "Boss, you're too cowardly. We killed so many zombies. What's the big deal?" Chok Ka confidently held a large knife in his hand. He swung it at the zombie, hitting it as hard as he could. Just a moment ago, he was still boasting confidently. Now in his eyes, there was a hint of panic. The zombie took a fatal blow, but was completely unharmed, not a piece of flesh missing. Chok Ka panicked. How can it not be killed? The zombie immediately lunged at him, slapping him hard on the neck. Blood sprayed violently, splattering like a fountain in the air. Chok Ka screamed, "Boss, help save me." Long Dao realized something was wrong. He yelled and ran to escape. "These zombies are mutated. They're not something we can fight against. The others forget about him. Quickly follow me." Duong pointed to the villa and asked the boss, "Over there." "It's not something we can fight against. Just leave those other guys alone and quickly follow me," Duong reported, pointing at the villa and asking the boss over there. Is there light? Does that mean there are people? Long Dao, without thinking much, shouted loudly, "Let's go over there! Run over there!" At this moment inside the villa, Duong Hao was happily enjoying dinner with Tai Kin. After finishing the meal, Duong Hao secretly glanced at Tai Kin for a moment and thought about the experiment earlier. Tai Kin's speed has indeed increased. It turns out that her body is changing because of me. Although the transformation is very slight, it is indeed changing, and gradually I can change her body, to give her the ability to protect herself. Then he told her about his next plan. That's right, Tai Kin, he intended to gather 11 supplies and then go to the refugee area to pick up people and look for her parents. Right now, outside, there are zombies everywhere. It's too dangerous. You should stay in the concentration area and wait for me to come home. Tai Kin disagreed. She stood up and insisted on following him. No, if you go, I will go too. I want to find my parents. Duong Hao also slowly stood up to explain. It will be more dangerous if you go outside. I will help you find your parents, and once I find them, I will come back to see you. Tai Kin sadly lowered her head and asked Duong Hao, "Do you see me as just a burden? Am I only someone you can protect?" She firmly asserted that Duong Hao and Tai Kin had already died along with her brother. Now the person standing in front of him is no longer that weak Tai Kin. "I will strive to protect myself and not cause you any more trouble." Duong Hao smiled proudly, thinking to himself, "She truly is the girl I like." Then he agreed with her, "All right, since you are so persistent. I will also strive to protect you if that's the case. Tomorrow we will set off to the concentration area." She happily replied, "So soon, that's great. Let's quickly start gathering supplies." Tai Kin turned around to leave, intending to go to the next house to find supplies. Xiao Lin from next door always stocked up on snacks, so there must be a lot of food. Let's go check it out. She thought to herself, although it seemed she had left this place a long time ago. Duong Hao spoke up, "No need to rush, we can go tomorrow." She grabbed the doorknob and turned around, puzzled. "Aren't you eager to set off early to find your parents?" As Tai Kin slightly opened the door suddenly, a hand unexpectedly appeared to brace against the door. Long Dao, along with 2 lackeys, Chok Dae and Duong Bao, appeared right in front of the door. Tai Kin panicked and exclaimed, "Who are you?" She looked at these thugs and thought, "These people don't seem like good ones." Duong Bao, seeing her as a woman dressed rather scantily, looked at her with a lustful gaze and thought to himself, "I didn't expect there to be a woman in the house. Moreover, this figure." Tai Kin immediately pulled the door shut and shouted, "We do not welcome strangers here." Long Dao quickly explained, "Wait, we are not bad people." His eyes did not leave Tai Kin. Long Dao was pondering whether there were any men inside that would be unstable. "We wanted to come here to find relatives, but unexpectedly they have already died. Moreover, now we are being chased by zombies. Please have mercy and let us in." Duong Hao, sitting inside the house, observed and realized the true nature of these people just by listening. Just looking at his face, you can tell he's lying. Why do people nowadays like to use such stupid excuses? If you like to act, I'll act with you to the end. He called out to Miss Tai Kin to let them in. She was confused, but they went in. The bald guy placed his hand on his chin, plotting quite well. "There's only one man. We have a lot of people, so it shouldn't be hard to deal with them." They all said in unison, "Thank you, brother, if not, we might have turned into a zombies' dinner by now." Outside, the mutated zombies were hunting them everywhere. Duong Hao sat cross-legged, calmly greeting them while it was so dangerous outside. "You guys aren't looking for the army for help, but are relying on ordinary folks here." He showed a disdainful expression, exposing the thugs. It sounded unreasonable no matter how you heard it. The more you listened, the more it seemed like they wanted to fish in troubled waters. Long Dao hurriedly explained, "Brother, you misunderstood. We haven't done anything yet." The bald guy revealed his true nature. He held a long knife and approached. "Anyway, we are already in. Moreover, here you are the only man. Even if we say we want to fish in troubled waters, what can you do?" He coldly replied, so quickly revealing your true nature. The bald guy pointed the knife at Duong Hao and shouted, "There's only one of you and you're so arrogant, I'll kill you now!" Long Dao ran over shouting to stop him. "Big head, turn back and use your pig brain to think." Clearly we could take advantage of him, but he still let us in. The bald guy, short-minded, saw a girl and became infatuated. He rushed over and lifted the wooden table. "Boss, what are you afraid of? Killing him means that girl is ours." He laughed loudly and swung down, saying, "My knife has been thirsty for a long time. After killing you, I can enjoy being with that girl. Come on, fight back. Weren't you very arrogant just now?" Duong Hao disappeared in an instant, surprising the bald guy. "Where did he go?" He answered, "Right behind you." The bald guy turned around, and before he could react, Duong Hao treated his bald head like a ball. Then he kicked it directly into the goal. "Too late, you idiot!" The bald guy was kicked far away. "This is the first time I've heard someone mention such a perverted request." Duong reported, sweating profusely. "This guy is too strong." He glanced at Tai Kin standing behind him and suddenly had a wicked thought. If that's the case, Duong Hao's system announced strength plus 2 speed plus 0.5. He was frustrated, thinking, what kind of battle is this to gain such attributes? Truly garbage. While he was focused on the system, he didn't notice Tai Kin, and then Duong reported suddenly shouted, "That dog!" He tightened his grip on Tai Keen, pressing the knife against her neck. Duong reported shouted, "Calm down a bit. If not, this girl will die." He stuck out his long tongue, holding the knife near his mouth, and said, "This knife of mine has deadly poison. If you're not careful." Tai, quick-witted, immediately came up with an idea. She stepped hard on Duong Bao's foot and shouted, "Don't think you can bully me just because I'm a woman," catching Duong Bao off guard. The hand holding the knife accidentally cut his own tongue. He panicked and screamed. Taking the opportunity, Tai quickly escaped from Duong Bao's control, crying out as his tongue was cut by the poisoned knife. "I'm about to turn into a zombie." Long Dao quickly ran to the rescue. Absolutely cannot let him turn into a zombie. He approached and grabbed Duong Bao's neck. "Sorry, brother." He choked him to death, then fell to the ground. Duong Hao observed everything among the crowd. "Only this guy has a bit of brains." Long Dao bent down and surrendered. "Today we encountered a master. I give up. I will take that fat one away." "Please, brother, spare us a life!" A sound came from outside the door, and he turned around, frightened by the noise. The atmosphere became tense. Duong Hao Taikin and Long Dao all silently stared at the door, which was forcefully broken in half by a powerful impact resulting in a loud explosion that shattered the entrance. A mutated zombie monster suddenly appeared, and all three were extremely astonished. Duong Hao looked at the monster, puzzled as to why such a large one appeared among the zombies. It charged wildly towards them. Long Dao, terrified, stepped back while Duong Hao stood in front of Tai Keen and unexpectedly picked her up, saying, "Got you." Then a dramatic display of affection unfolded as they dodged the monster, while Long Dao below was panicking, wanting to pull down her pants. Duong Hao held her tightly and landed coolly. The monster slammed its head into the wall behind them. Duong Hao turned to remind the other guy, "You and those two are not the same. Protect my girlfriend. If she loses even a hair, I will make you die a very ugly death. I will make sure you die in a very disgraceful way." He replied, confused, "Okay." You turned and left. Tai Kin suddenly grabbed your shirt tightly, worried, "Duong Hao, are you okay alone?" You calmly replied, "It's fine. On the way here, I don't know how many of those I have killed. Although this one is a bit different." The monster quickly pulled its head out from the wall. Duong Hao held his sword and charged at it. He jumped up and with great force slashed at it. Duong Hao was shocked by the scene before him. The sword he struck at the monster's arm didn't leave a scratch on it. He wondered how he could hit it again. Then Duong Hao tried to pull the sword back, but the monster's muscles held it tightly, making it impossible to pull out. It swung its hand and threw him away. The monster easily crushed his sword. It held the remaining handle and roared. Duong Hao sat up and analyzed this zombie. It's completely different from the previous mutated ones. It slammed both hands down to the ground. Duong Hao quickly dodged to the side and pulled out a sharp white arrow. He gathered his strength and threw the arrow at the monster. It immediately caught the arrow and squeezed it tightly, causing it to break in half instantly. He continued to take out an axe. Duong Hao shouted, "I don't believe there's no soft spot on you." Then both sides rushed into a fierce battle. The monster slammed down with its fists while he jumped up and struck its shoulder with the axe. The atmosphere became tense. Both sides fought fiercely with smoke rising. Duong Hao kept striking it with the axe, but the monster blocked with its hands. After fighting for a while, it was covered in sweat and seemed to be getting tired. He observed it carefully and analyzed that the zombie's weakness seemed to be its ability to continuously attack. The monster suddenly halted, and Duong Hao seized the opportunity. He then kicked it in the face. The monster howled in pain and fell to the ground, thinking it would surrender, but no. The monster immediately sat up, opened its mouth, and howled, producing countless sound waves that spread outside, attracting the attention of the zombies outside the villa. They followed that sound. A horde moved in towards the villa. Duong Hao angrily thought, "Damn it, they called the ones outside in." Just as Long Dao was terrified and her body was trembling, Duong Hao ran over and threw her a crossbow. She saw the monster charging and yelled, "Quick dodge!" It rushed in like crazy to ambush from behind, and Duong Hao quickly used the white arrows to successfully block the monster's attack, but it was also a dirty trick. It used its strength to directly throw him away. Tai was panicking and shouted while Duong Hao, who was using a crossbow to fend off the zombies outside the door, also worriedly asked if he was still alive. Duong Hao slowly stepped out with a majestic demeanor and replied that he had only a few minor injuries and wouldn't die. He frowned, thinking that such a strong impact didn't hurt at all. The battle armor he was wearing seemed to be very effective. Duong Hao picked up the axe that had fallen in front of the monster. He used a challenging tone, saying, "Hey, you fat bastard, you have no strength at all. Right in front of you is a piece of fresh meat. Come over and eat." It immediately became furious, its muscles quickly tensed up, and then it charged at him. Duong Hao jumped into the air to dodge the monster's attack, which kept rushing at him. "As long as your attention is focused on me, Tai will be safe." While Duong Hao was fighting fiercely with the monster, the boy named Chok Dae suddenly woke up from his daze. He wasn't fully awake yet, sitting up and holding his head, surprised that the kid's legs were so strong. Chok Dae looked up and saw the monster charging towards him, panicking and wondering what was happening. Could it be that the guy had turned into a zombie? Not knowing his own strength, he directly charged at the monster. Even if you turn into a zombie, I still have to fight. Before he could even reach the monster, he was punched in the mouth, his teeth and lips mixed together. The monster sent Chokta flying into the wall, his body sticking to the wall behind him. Duong Hao was speechless, forgetting that he was still alive. Why didn't he dodge? Moreover, the way he charged in looked a bit familiar. As he turned his head, he saw another zombie rushing towards him. Duong Hao swung his axe and split it in half. Then 2 or 3 more zombies charged at him. He wondered if this guy could still throw things. Duong Hao quickly dealt with these insignificant zombies. The low-level ones thrown over here were no longer worth anything. It was really annoying. After chopping a few more times, his axe broke in half. He hadn't used it for long. This hammer was too weak. The monster frantically threw other zombies at him. Suddenly, something shot quickly towards him. A projectile hit the monster's eye. It was an arrow shot by Long Dao using a crossbow. Duong Hao shouted loudly to remind everyone to focus on him. "I can handle this side myself." He stepped on the zombie's corpse and tried to appear calm, responding, "Don't worry, I'll finish this up." But deep down he wanted to scream, "Damn it, I almost wet my pants just now." The monster held its forehead. Although it could no longer see anything, it continued to charge at Duong Hao. He thought to himself that it was fine. After losing its sight, it posed no threat anymore. He tightened his fists and concentrated all his strength into them. Taking this opportunity, he decided to try using his strongest power to see if it would have any effect. He charged in and punched straight into the monster's stomach, saying, "Die." Duong Hao's strength was so terrifying that it pierced through its stomach. "Let's see my full power." Immediately, a large hole appeared in the monster's belly. Finally, he had taken it down. The monster fell back to the ground, and the system notification rang out, "Duong Hao, strength 222 plus 40, speed 70. Spirit 80 plus 10 received the long-range enhancement blade titanium alloy." He looked at the system screen again for the attributes of strength, which were not less than before, and also received equipment just as his weapon had broken a few items. It could be replenished. The sun was gradually rising and a new day was beginning. Duong Hao opened his eyes and was immediately struck by the sight of 2 large hills. Tai was happily rubbing his head. "You're awake!" He was lying on her lap, wondering how long he had been in a coma. She replied, "It's been a while," she replied after a moment. Meanwhile, the other person blocked the door to prevent zombies from entering. Duong Hao looked at Long Dao's back, standing guard at the door. This guy was also obedient, but unexpectedly the zombies had mutated. "We must quickly assess the situation. The longer we delay, the more dangerous it becomes. You should immediately tell Tai to head to the gathering point." After finding the others, she happily agreed. Everything here was settled. "We can leave at any time." Long Dao voiced his worries. "If we trust us, can you take us along?" Duong Hao silently thought for a moment, transitioning to a place near the villa where zombies had surrounded everywhere. Duong Hao charged into them effortlessly, dispatching a few. Duong Hao told Tai, "You're the one from here. Knowing the traffic in the city, how long does it take from here to the northern suburbs? The gathering point is nearby." Tai replied, "At the current pace, while killing zombies, it should take us more than half a day." A voice interrupted the conversation between the two, Brother Hao. "We found a car." Troch Di and Long Dao brought over a 4-seater car. The two of them were trying to fend off the surrounding zombies. He was pleased. It seemed bringing them along was beneficial. Then came a sweeping scene. After a while, 5 zombies were eliminated. Duong Hao continuously launched multiple attacks, and Troch Di gaped in admiration. Brother Hao was so strong. Killing zombies is like chopping vegetables. He confidently stepped on the zombie corpses. Long Dao spoke up. "Last night, I could punch a big zombie to death. Don't you think that's strong?" Duong Hao joked, "So you two want to compete with me?" He waved his hand. No, all 4 of us get in the car." He was excited. Unexpectedly, the car still had gas. "Thank goodness, Tai, you know the way to the northern suburbs, right? I'll guide you. Let's hurry over there." She nodded. "Yes." The car quickly started and set off. Just as the car rolled away, a large foot appeared. Another monster with blood-red eyes was crushing another zombie in its hand. Transitioning to the gathering point, the refugees were lined up in long queues. Waiting for their turn to get food, Puang Hoa was happily scooping food. She cheerfully said, "Please line up one by one, everyone gets a portion." Tang Wai stood beside her, unexpectedly noticing something in one direction. Huan Tian suddenly appeared. He tried to mimic a gentleman flirting. "Ya, you look as beautiful as ever today. Why are you in Area 2? Only these scoundrels suffer here." "Why don't you come with me to Area 1 and enjoy yourself?" she replied unhappily. "Why are you back here again? Don't think that I don't know what you're up to with your trash friends in Area 1. He sweet-talked her, explaining how great it is in Area 1, where you don't have to work every day, you have food and water, and there's security, plus I'm here. No one dares to do anything to you, and as for your friend, that guy is currently being provided food and drinks by me." She angrily pointed a long loaf of bread at him, saying, "You trash have already met your end." And for being pests to society, I should tell Yang Hao to throw you guys to the zombies to eat. When she mentioned the name Yang Hao, his attitude immediately changed. This dog doesn't even deserve to be mentioned, and you dare to bring up that scoundrel with me. I called you over to Area 1 5 times, and you repay me with this. She shouted, warning them. We're not as free as you guys. You dare to come here and disturb us? Do you want me to break your legs? He turned his back and walked away, cursing the damned girl who dared to act so arrogantly just because she had a bit of martial skill. Little Dieppe looked after the figure of Huan Tian in the blue outfit and asked her little sister if she had come to receive food today. Little Dieppe obediently replied, Yes, Sister Tan Yi, today I want 2 portions for my grandfather. She happily handed the girl a portion of food along with some candy. Oh, you're such a thoughtful little one. Here's some extra candy for you. Little Dieppe joyfully thanked her sister and happily left saying goodbye. The close relationship between Little Dieppe and Tan Yi was caught by Huan Tian, and the wicked thoughts in his heart were clearly visible on his face. Tan Yi. Tan Yi, do you really like this girl? Then I will use her to give you a surprise. The scene shifted to Area 2, where Puang Hoa was carefully fixing Tan Yi's hair. She was annoyed, saying that in Area 1, Puang Tan Tan sometimes even took the initiative to help, unlike those from La Huan Tian's group. They only know how to tease others, Tan Yi replied. Puang Tan Tan thought that they were just a bunch of hypocrites and definitely not comparable to the trash like La Huan Tian. Puang Hoa responded, But every time he comes over, she always reminds Duong Hao. I'm very curious when Duong Hao will come here. Hearing that, she suspiciously asked, Huh? Just then, a knock on the door interrupted their conversation. Puang Hoa cheerfully opened the door. Come in, come in. Little Dieppe had now transformed into a zombie. She looked in shock at the dirty appearance of the girl. Huh, what happened to you, little sister? Come in quickly! Little Dieppe hoarsely called out, Sister Puang Hoa, help! The girl suddenly went wild and lunged at her. Puang Hoa was frightened and stood frozen, screaming. Just then, Tan Yi ran over. She kicked the girl against the wall. Puang Hoa, in tears, called out to her sister. Tan Yi angrily questioned, This is a safe gathering point. How could she get infected? An idea struck her. I need to find the guards and ask for clarification. As soon as Tan Yi opened the door, she saw soldiers rushing out. She ran over and asked one of them, What happened at the gathering point? I just encountered a newly infected zombie. The soldier was shocked and quickly asked, Are you all unhurt? He then explained the situation, saying that they didn't know why a large number of zombies appeared at the gathering point. The commanders were observing everything outside through a device. Above is the current situation at the gathering point where Puang Trung Duke is commanding. Colonel Tan Tan burst in panicking and shouting, There are a lot of zombies at the gathering point. Quickly send people to handle it or they will keep multiplying. He calmly replied, I know. We have already arranged for people. Trung Duke ordered, Team Leader Lu, take my daughter to the safe room. The others follow me to deal with the zombies. He immediately obeyed, shouting clearly. Tong Tan clutched her father's shirt, saying, Dad, I have friends in Area 2. Can you send some people with me? After I find them, we can go to the safe room together. Trung Duke angrily scolded, Just obediently follow Team Leader Lu to the safe room and wait. There are guards in Area 2 who will protect your friends well. After that, he left, leaving her standing there in shock. She turned around and noticed the gun hanging at the hip of a soldier. If she didn't see them safe with her own eyes, she wouldn't feel at ease. Taking advantage of the moment he wasn't paying attention, she lunged to grab the gun. After all, she didn't expect him to help her. She would go herself. Tan Tan took the gun and walked out of the room. Trung Duke panicked and called out, Hey, Tan Tan, stop! The scene shifted to the entrance of the gathering point where Duong Hao had driven Tai Kin. Long Dao and Chok Dae also arrived, and all 4 of them got out of the car, looking at the chaotic scene inside. Duong Hao wondered, what happened at the gathering point? Just then, a loud explosion occurred inside the gathering point, and he suddenly remembered that Kotan Yi and the others were still inside. I have to go find them. Duong Hao, take out the sword and remind everyone to find a safe place to protect Tai King. I'll go in there and check, Tai King shouted loudly to remind you, Duong Hao. You must come back safely. You can be confident, just relax. At this moment in Area 2, Tan Yi and Puang Hoa followed closely behind the guard. He held his gun tightly alert and moved forward. The 2 of them followed me, and I led them to the safe room. Tan Yi gripped the stick tightly in her hand, carefully observing the road. It seemed there were no other people. They were groping in the hallway without realizing they had just passed by the room. Someone is doing the most foolish thing in the world, the guard replied to Tan Yi. They might have already reached the safe area. She gently said, Is that so? Suddenly they encountered an old man. The guard quickly asked, Sir, aren't you with the other guards? The old man, dressed in shabby clothes, had a worried expression on his face and spoke with a trembling voice. Comrade, have you seen my granddaughter? She went to get food at noon and hasn't returned yet. I'm afraid she couldn't find me, so I sneaked out here. Tan Yi heard this and felt as if struck by lightning. She was worried. Could this be the grandfather of that girl? How could she tell him? Behind the old man, a large number of zombies suddenly appeared. He was still unaware and continued talking to them. I only have one granddaughter. What if she... The guard quickly fired, shooting one of them. He shouted loudly, "Sir, get back!" But unfortunately, the old man was still attacked by a zombie. It bit crazily into the old man's neck, blood splattering everywhere. He could only let out a scream. The guard kept firing at the zombies, his face panicked as he tightened his grip on the gun. His hands trembled with fear. Damn it, why are there so many zombies suddenly appearing? After that, the guard gave up fighting and turned to run for his life. He called to the two girls, "You two hurry up, if you don't go, we could all be in danger." Suddenly, a zombie dashed out from a corner trying to block their path. Tan Yi panicked and raised her stick to attack, silently praying that it wouldn't go wrong. She swung the stick with all her might at the zombie's head. It fell to the ground, bright red blood gushing from its head. The guard, confused, thanked her, but suddenly another zombie appeared from nowhere and lunged at them like the wind. The guard, caught off guard, was bitten hard on the neck. He exclaimed in shock, "When did this one show up?" He quickly turned one hand, holding his neck to stop the bleeding, while the other fired his gun at the zombie. At the same time, he kicked it away, cursing, "Damn it!" After that, as if sensing his fate, he carefully instructed the two of them, "You two go north to reach the safe room. The other path, it seems you girls have to go alone." Fuang Hoa was heartbroken and speechless. The guard's two girls had tears welling in their eyes as they suppressed their sadness and turned to leave. Fuang Hoa sadly said, "I'm sorry," at this moment. Behind them, the shadowy zombies growled, still approaching in their bloodthirsty frenzy. He trembled to the extreme, his face showing despair and fear. He choked up, "I don't want to become a zombie." After that, Tan Yi and Fuang Hoa quickly ran along the corridor looking for a way down. Tang Yi fought bravely against the zombies without fear. After a while, they reached the first floor. Fuang Hoa reminded her, "We're finally on the first floor. We need to quickly find the safe room. The zombies smell something delicious and keep rushing toward us." Suddenly, one jumped up close to Tan Yi. Fuang Hoa worriedly shouted, "Tan Yi, watch out!" The beauty not only looked stunning, but also reacted very quickly. She swiftly swung her stick at the zombie, but it nimbly dodged her blow, breaking the wooden stick in half. Tang Yi was terrified. In her heart, she panicked. The stick was broken, and she had been too careless. This time, she couldn't avoid it. Suddenly, 3 bullets appeared from nowhere, flying straight toward the zombie. It quickly leaned to avoid them. Taking advantage of the zombie being stunned, Tang Yi quickly jumped up. With a powerful kick, I shattered the zombie's jaw while thinking to myself that this was the perfect moment. From a distance, Tan Tan stood proudly, gun in hand, still smelling of gunpowder. "Are you two okay? I'm here to rescue you." Tan Wai asked in surprise, "Puong Tan Tan, how did you get here?" Tan Tan replied with a smile, "Isn't it because I was worried about you two?" "No need to thank me!" Suddenly, Puong Hoa shouted in panic. "Puong Tan Tan, be careful! The zombies are turning their attention to attack you!" Tan Tan, terrified, could only scream, "Don't!" Tan Wai tiptoed to gain momentum. She quickly rushed forward to stand in front of Tan Tan, simultaneously throwing a punch like thunder at the zombie, sending it flying away. Then she immediately executed a move, slicing the nearby zombie in half. Tan Wai continued to strike, and soon the zombies were falling one by one. Tan Tan watched from the outside, filled with admiration. "This is martial arts. It's so powerful." After that, Tan Wai quickly ran away. She turned her head and called out, "Don't just stand there. Let's go quickly." She thought to herself that martial arts consumed too much energy. They needed to escape quickly. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed and debris flew everywhere as something blocked their path. From the thick dust, a massive zombie appeared, covered in sharp spikes, glaring dangerously at the group standing before it. Fuang Hoa assessed the zombie, saying, "This one is different from the others." Tan Tan trembled and said, "Tan Wai, maybe we should run." At that moment, Tan Wai felt extremely uneasy. Based on the speed of the previous attacks, if they ran, they would eventually be caught. She desperately charged at the zombie without hesitation. It stood firm to receive her attack. "You two go to safety first. I'll draw this zombie away and meet up with everyone later." Puong Hoa was so scared she gasped, "Tanya, you're going alone." "It's too dangerous." Tan Tan hurriedly fired her gun. "Let us help you." Tan Wai continued to kick at the zombie. "You two hurry and go. If you stay, you'll only distract me. I need to protect you." Tan Tan and Fuang Hoa immediately agreed to run for help. "Okay, we'll go find the guards to help you, Tan. Why, you hold on." The zombie swung its arm to slap her. She nimbly jumped and kicked hard on its back. "They've gone now. It's time for me to focus on dealing with you." Suddenly, the zombie grabbed her leg and Tan Wai couldn't react in time. She was thrown hard against the wall, creating a large dent. She fell face down on the ground, feeling despair. "Is this the end?" The zombie charged forward, its eyes bloodshot and crazed, rushing toward her. Suddenly, a sword flew in through the window, piercing the zombie. It cried out in pain. Then a figure appeared before Tan Wai. Duong Hao stood like a proud hero. "Anyone who dares to harm my friend will only meet death," Tan Wai felt overjoyed. Duong Hao, having regained his strength, saw the zombies rushing toward him and told himself he had to quickly deal with the zombies around to get Tan Wai out. Immediately, Duong Hao's eyes turned bloodshot as he furiously swung his sword at them. "Die, all of you!" With a single slash, a zombie fell without a chance to react and his sword struck the ground. Debris flew everywhere as he continued to slash. The zombies couldn't counterattack. Duong Hao gripped his sword tightly, his eyes blazing with fighting spirit. He was like a demon slashing at zombies. After a while, he held Tan Wai's hand and helped her up. "I've taken care of the nearby zombies." The zombies lay scattered on the floor. Duong Hao supported Tan Wai and asked, "Are you okay?" She gently replied, "I'll take you over there." Meanwhile, in the safe room outside, the guards were bravely fighting against the zombie horde. Inside, many people were taking shelter, and Puang Hoa was still crying incessantly. "Tangri has been gone for so long. The guard is not here. If she doesn't have anyone to support her, she won't be in trouble, right?" Tan sat beside her, comforting her, insisting that Tan Yi would definitely come here. Suddenly, Huan Tian arrogantly stood in front of them, saying, "Isn't this the commander's daughter?" He approached Tan, reaching out to grope her, but luckily she reacted in time and slapped his hand hard. He laughed mockingly. "Don't hide behind your dad, come over here. You really know how to torture yourself." He shamelessly continued, "Why don't you come with me? There's food and shelter and you'll be happy." Tan gritted her teeth in anger. "Going with you, aren't you here to avoid danger too?" He sat down, putting his dirty hand on Tan's shoulder and kept talking. "Avoiding danger? Who told you I had to be here avoiding danger? My dad has arranged a helicopter. Take me to another safe area. You must know there's a super zombie here and the guard can't possibly be its match." Tan frowned in discomfort, brushing his hand away. She asked rapidly, "What do you mean by that?" Explained clearly what super zombie Duong Hao had been standing behind the two of them for who knows how long. Huan Tian didn't sense the danger that was approaching. He shamelessly tried to entice her. "You want to know, let's change the place to talk." As soon as he finished speaking, Duong Hao swiftly grabbed his neck, lifting Huan Tian up, angrily shouting, "What the zombie in the concentration area has something to do with you?" He was so scared he couldn't speak, and Tan was extremely surprised. Calling Duong Hao, she joyfully raised her hand excitedly. "Duong Hao, I didn't expect you to come." Puang Hoa's eyes were filled with tears, covering her mouth overjoyed. "Tang Yi, are you okay?" "That's great." Duong Hao still held Huan Tian's neck tightly. He was terrified, sweating profusely. "Duong Hao, you're still alive." Duong Hao angrily tightened his grip. He wished he could kill him right then and there. "You curse me whether I live or die has nothing to do with you. You better explain to me clearly or I'll throw you to the zombies." Huan Tian, scared, struggled. Don't throw me out." I said everyone in the room heard the commotion and quickly came over to see what was going on. Someone asked, "What's happening over there?" Duong Hao threw Huan Tian hard to the ground. He scrambled to get up, holding his neck and coughing quickly, answering, "After I entered the concentration area not long after, I don't know how it turned into a zombie. I happened to discover it. At that time, it wasn't strong yet, so I turned him into a tool to scare others." Tang Yi didn't believe him and hurriedly asked, "What do you mean? Aren't there body checks when entering the concentration area? How come you didn't discover he was infected?" Huan Tian kept coughing slowly, standing up still, answering in an arrogant tone. "Maybe he had contact with a zombie before. It could have been an incubation period. Plus, with a background like ours, do you think the checks would be as strict as yours?" He grinned like a madman, boasting about his achievements. "The zombie Shi Zhuang has helped me deal with quite a few obstacles. It's just a pity that I accidentally let a little girl turn into a zombie and run away." Duong Hao hated him, grabbing his collar and cursing. "Damn it, you really are trash. I should have killed you earlier." Huan Tian laughed savagely, his eyes wicked. "It's because you don't understand the feeling of watching others in horror before they die begging for help. It's truly exhilarating." Duong Hao was extremely furious, shouting at Huan Tian, "You bastard, today you are—" Suddenly a scream interrupted Duong Hao's words. "What kind of zombie is this? Why is it moving so fast?" "Help." The group turned to look towards the source of the scream. Huan Tian laughed heartily. "Looks like these people have encountered Shi Zhuang's zombie." Duong Hao rolled his eyes, worried. Could it be that Shi Zhuang's zombie has evolved too? He quickly threw the madman in his hand to the ground and rushed towards the zombie. "Wait for me, I'll go take a look." He didn't forget to tell Huan Tian, "I'll come back to kill you later." You hurriedly threw the crazy guy in your hand to the ground and quickly ran toward the zombie. "Everyone wait there for me, I'm going to check it out. Don't forget to tell Huan Tian that I'll come back to kill you later." Inside him, he was extremely angry, unable to let this zombie do whatever it wanted. Tang Wai quickly chased after Duong Hao, saying, "Don't act like a hero all by yourself anymore." "I'll go with you," Duong Hao replied casually. At that moment in a safe house, a girl was trembling in fear as she watched the zombie slowly approach her. Duong Hao managed to run over to rescue her. He shouted, "Stop!" At this point, So Tuong had evolved into a zombie with a pale purple face and grotesque blue veins. He glared irritably at anyone who dared to ruin his plans. Duong Hao flew in from a distance and kicked So Tuong squarely in the head, his voice echoing, "Give it to me." So Tuong fell back, tumbling several meters, dirt and stones flying everywhere. He raised his hand to clutch his painful groin and got up, preparing to attack the girl again. Duong Hao shouted, "Why aren't you running already?" The girl, frightened, hurriedly ran away. Not forgetting to turn back and thank him, "Thank you." Duong Hao used his magical power to summon a sword, and soon a large, powerful sword appeared in his hand. Duong Hao, filled with momentum, pointed the sword at the zombie. So Tuong saying, "In the past you relied on your power to be arrogant. Now you're facing your retribution." He looked like a vengeful god passing judgment on the wicked. With a cold gaze, he swung the sword towards So Tuong, saying, "Let me send you off on your final journey." But So Tuong quickly turned and reacted nimbly, jumping to evade Duong Hao's deadly strike. Then he quickly launched a counterattack. Duong Hao was lucky to dodge and cursed, "Damn it, this zombie is fast!" So Tuong dashed around like lightning, completely unseen. He used his maximum speed to continuously attack Duong Hao, who blocked his strikes with the sword. Internally cursing, "Damn it," Duong Hao couldn't find an opportunity to counterattack. He remained vigilant, unaware that So Tuong was raising his claws behind him. Where did he hide? But fortunately, a stone suddenly flew in from nowhere and struck his ugly face, causing him to fall back. Duong Hao turned around in shock to see what had happened. Manhwa stood proudly, having thrown the stone hands on her hips, saying, "You run fast. Next time, wait for me." Duong Hao quickly turned back and continued to swing the sword at So Tuong. "You run slowly." Manhwa, panicked, fled from the blade like the sky was falling. Duong Hao was extremely angry, thinking, "Damn it, I let him escape." At this moment, So Tuong ripped off the shirt he was wearing, revealing sharp spikes. His face twisted into a sinister grin, ready to attack. Duong Hao was astonished. Why does he have spikes growing on his back? Suddenly, the sharp spikes on So Tuong's back shot out like bullets towards Duong Hao. Duong Hao used his sword to slice through the spikes, coldly stating, "Just spikes, they won't trouble me." So Tuong looked at his enemy with fear in his heart. He quickly changed his target and charged towards Manhwa. She screamed in fear, "Duong Hao, he's coming for me!" He quickly jumped up, launching his sword at the zombie, angrily grinding his teeth, cursing, "This zombie still wants to play tricks." The powerful sword thrust deep into So Tuong's body. He fell backward, the sword embedded firmly in his stomach, pinning him against the wall. So Tuong gasped in pain. Duong Hao quickly ran over, saying, "Got you now." He grasped the sword's hilt and pulled it out, then continuously slashed at the demon. So Tuong, who couldn't react and stood there waiting for death. Duong Hao angrily shouted, "Die!" After that, Duong Hao arrogantly slung the sword over his shoulder and turned to leave, leaving So Tuong to die without a chance to gasp behind him. He walked away without looking back, calling, "So Tuong is dead." Manhwa hurriedly followed behind, while the other guy, La Hoan, had to taste the bitterness as well. At the same time, near the safe house, the zombies were relentlessly approaching. The guards were still bravely fighting to hold back the zombies. Duong Hao and Manhwa emerged from the alley and were shocked to see the horde of zombies, exclaiming, "Why are there so many zombies near the safe room?" Duong Hao looked at the zombies with a cold smile, saying, "No problem. Kill as many as there are." At this moment, the zombies were frantically charging to attack the guards. They gripped their guns tightly, bravely fighting. Suddenly, a zombie swiftly lunged at one of the guards. He tightened his grip on the gun and fired continuously at it, fearfully exclaiming, "Damn it, this zombie is getting faster and I'm running out of ammo." Suddenly, a powerful force came from somewhere and slammed into the zombie, leaving it no time for final words. The guard was left bewildered, not understanding what had just happened. Startled, Ha's mouth gaped as the zombie fell face first onto Duong Hao, who calmly asked the guards, "Are you all okay? Why are there so many zombies near a safe house?" The guard frowned in frustration. A black-haired student suddenly ran out, deliberately attracting the surrounding zombies here. Hearing this, Duong Hao immediately thought of that damn pervert. Could the black-haired student be La Huan Tien? Suddenly, the guard bent over, breathing heavily, feeling like he was about to suffocate. Duong Hao was confused. This was a symptom of infection. These words struck the guard like a bolt from the blue. He panicked and quickly made a decision. "If I'm infected, just kill me." "I don't want to become a monster," Duong Hao asked in surprise. "Are you sure? Aren't you going to see your family?" The guard remained steadfast. "I don't need to. I'm an orphan with no family." Duong Hao sadly replied, "All right, I understand. You're suffering. Use the sword to end the heroic life of the guard. I'm sorry. I hope in the next life we can be born in a better era." He smiled and said his goodbyes. Duong Hao was extremely angry, veins bulging on his face, gritting his teeth. "La Huan Tien, I will definitely make you die without a place to bury you." He gently laid the guard down on the ground. At that moment, a zombie took the opportunity to rush at him. Duong Hao quickly turned to face it and immediately swung his big-sized sword. "Prepare to send it to hell." Unexpectedly, at that moment, 3 gunshots pierced through it. Duong Hao frowned, watching the zombie fall to the ground. Tan Yi approached from behind. "Was that gunfire?" Could it be that many guards were approaching, each holding a gun tightly? The guard felt relieved. The other team had come over. Trung Duc immediately ordered the guards. "There are only a few zombies left near the safe zone. Concentrate fire and wipe them out for me. Trung Duc, reload and prepare for this battle." Suddenly, a zombie charged wildly at him, defeating numerous guards. Everyone screamed in panic, "Be careful!" Trung Duc cursed, raised his gun, and fired at the zombie. It died on the spot, blood gushing out like a fountain. At that moment, 2 other zombies also rushed over. He sighed, really. Trung Duke kept his gun raised defensively, but simultaneously elbowed the zombie behind him. He was frustrated, killing one zombie after another, but there were still more. He fired bullets whizzing into the zombie in front. Another angry zombie gritted its teeth, rolling up its sleeves, ready to join the fight. Trung Duke quickly grabbed its collar. He forcefully threw the zombie to the ground, then chopped its head off before shooting it in the head. More and more zombies appeared, charging fiercely. The guard team kept firing. Trung Duke angrily shouted, "Is it time to reload or not?" He gripped his gun tightly, smashing the zombies, scattering them. He cursed while fighting, "Die already." At that moment, Duong Hao's sword quickly flew in to save him. He shouted, "Be careful behind you!" Trung Duke bent down to avoid the sword that plunged deep into a zombie. It died before it could even gasp. Trung Duke quickly seized the sword. He used it to deal with another zombie. The sharp blade immediately killed it. He sat down exhausted, resting the sword on the ground for support. His sharp gaze glanced at the figure behind him. Trung Duke, tired, said, "Thank you." Duong Hao quickly bent down to help him stand up. "You helped us just now." Trung Duke lightly placed his hand on Duong Hao's shoulder, happily praising him. "At such a young age, you can handle so many zombies alone." "Indeed, the younger generation is formidable," he modestly replied. "Just a small matter." Uncle Trung Duke raised a finger to signal. He looked at the 2 of them, laughing heartily. "Leave the rest to us. Everyone hurry to the safe house." Duong Hao immediately grabbed Tan Yi's hand and quickly left. "Thank you for your hard work, everyone." In his heart, he silently calculated that he had to seize the time to find La Huantine to settle the score. The 2 of them were holding hands and running away when suddenly a helicopter appeared in the sky. Duong Hao was surprised, wondering why a helicopter was flying here. Could it be reinforcements? At this moment, inside, everyone was huddled together in groups, worried and discussing. Tan Wai and Duong Hao had just run over, and he quickly asked what was happening here. "Is everyone okay?" La Huantien first saw Tan Tan's injury and rushed over to ask about it. Puang Tan Tan was holding her arm, angrily recounting what happened. "No, I'm fine." La Huantien heard the sound of the helicopter outside and ran out frantically, saying he wanted to hold him back. When he returned, he was injured by him. "You go quickly and catch him. Don't let him escape." Hearing this, he immediately turned and left. Before leaving, he did not forget to remind Ko Tan Wai to stay back and protect the others. "I'm going to settle things with La Huantien." At this moment, near the safe house, he had just stepped outside. Duong Hao saw Huan Tian running desperately, trying to climb up the high floor with a group of zombies chasing closely behind him. He was furious, thinking, "Why is that guy running upstairs?" Could it be that the helicopter came to pick him up, attracting zombies to harm the gathering point? Now he still wants to run. Dream on Huan Tian's side, he stopped running. Using a baseball bat, he smashed the zombies into pieces, laughing loudly. "Damn, you guys just won't die, but I'm about to say goodbye to you." After a while, he managed to reach the rooftop where the helicopter was already waiting in the sky. He joyfully called out, "Dad, I'm here!" The rope ladder was quickly lowered, and Huan Tian rushed to the helicopter door. His father pointed and shouted loudly, "Tian, Tian, hurry up! The zombies are about to climb up here." He quickly grabbed the rope ladder and climbed up, but then he saw a familiar figure. He looked down to see Duong Hao chasing him from below, plotting a wicked scheme in his mind. It was Duong Hao. He hadn't died. But if he had chased him here, he slowly climbed down. "Dad, wait a few more minutes. I still have someone I want to deal with myself." At this moment in the hallway, the zombies were relentlessly chasing Duong Hao. He quickly ran up to the rooftop. Just as he was nearing the door, he noticed a shadow. Duong Hao continued to move forward, sneering inwardly. "La Huan Tien, you think you're so clever trying to sneak attack me? Wait another 108,000 years. Huan Tien was hiding behind the door, contemplating that this was the moment. He swung the bat in his hand fiercely, laughing cruelly. "Duong Hao, let me send you on your way." But unexpectedly, nothing hit his bat. He was astonished. "Where is he?" Duong Hao was behind him without him knowing. He wore a sinister smile. "Let me give you a taste of being bitten by zombies." Huan Tien was startled and quickly pushed that guy inside and ran. The zombies had just arrived and were frantically rushing at him. Huan Tien was terrified. "Please spare me, don't!" But the zombies lunged at him, biting and devouring him. Duong Hao stood by, watching, coldly enjoying the scene. In the helicopter, Huan Tian's father was screaming in agony. "Tian, Tian!" He pulled out a gun, preparing to take revenge for his son. That bastard! He seemed to lose his mind, raising the gun and aiming directly at Duong Hao. Duong Hao quickly jumped back to dodge the attack, with bullets embedding deep into the ground, creating small explosions. He silently cursed the enemy. Then he hid behind a wall. Huan Tian's father continued to curse. "Duong Hao, you think you can shoot us with just that?" After that, the helicopter moved in another direction. Huan Tian's father immediately discovered Duong Hao's hiding spot. He angrily shouted, "I don't believe I can't kill you." The bullets continued to fly towards him. Duong Hao frowned in annoyance, still not over it. He hurriedly ran out from his hiding place behind the thick clouds of dust, quickly drawing out his big-sized sword, grumbling that he didn't want to deal with them. He forcefully threw the sword towards the helicopter, but it kept clinging to me so soon enough the sword sliced through the helicopter's rotor, causing it to lose balance immediately. The pilot shouted in panic, "Boss, jump! The helicopter is broken!" He quickly left the pilot's seat, giving a parachute to Huan Tian's father, angrily cursing, "You bastard, just wait!" The helicopter began to catch fire, and the pilot and Huan Tian's father quickly strapped on their parachutes and jumped down continuously, threatening, "I will make you pay." At this moment, on Trung Duk's side, the rain of bullets continued to pour into the group of zombies. Trung Duk stepped over the corpses of zombies, intently looking at the report that Colonel had handled all the zombies at the concentration point. Trung Duk handed the report to the guard, replying, "Okay, now go count the lucky survivors and conveniently check if there are any suspicious infected people left behind." Before he could finish his sentence, Huan Tian's father arrived and pointed at him, scolding, "Trung Duk, how much money have I spent on supplies to ensure the safety of the concentration area? You can't even protect my son." Seeing Trung Duk not reacting, he became even more emboldened. "I give you 3 minutes to find the person who harmed my son. Otherwise, you can forget about supplies." At this moment, Duong Hao had also come down, hands in his pockets, unperturbed, saying, "No need to look for me." Huan Tian's father immediately rushed to the guard, trying to snatch the gun from him, angrily shouting, "You bastard, how dare you come out here? I will make you wish you were dead." At that moment, Tan Tan had also stepped outside her presence, commanding as she shouted to stop. "Who dares to touch Duong Hao, I guarantee that person won't leave this place." Tan Tan continued, "Your son, Huan Tian, secretly hid zombies. Now the disaster at the concentration area is all his doing. He deserves to die." Tan Yi added, condemning Huan Tian. "That's right, if it weren't for Duong Hao, who knows how many people would have died." Previously, Huan Tian admitted to hiding zombies on his own, and when he ran away alone, he attracted zombies to attack the concentration area, basically not caring about the lives of others. The people behind also chimed in to accuse him. "That's right. If it weren't for La Huan Tian, the concentration area wouldn't have turned out like this. Exactly, a traitor to humanity like La Huan Tian deserves to die. The rich kids really aren't good people." Huan Tian's father couldn't refute this logic. Suddenly, he turned to propose to Trung Duk, "Colonel, as long as you agree to kill this guy, I will provide supplies 5 times more than before, and I will send more guards to ensure safety. Don't you think that's very reasonable, the crowd that had just condemned Huan Tian?" But upon hearing the enticing proposal, they quickly changed their attitude. "Supplies 5 times more, well, that's great. And moreover, sending more people to protect us makes us stronger than just Duong Hao alone." Some hesitated, but were immediately shouted at. "What do you mean? Duong Hao can protect so many people by himself. And he has so many supplies. Moreover, he dares to kill. What if one day he finds us annoying and kills us too?" They were truly a bunch of ingrates, doing a complete 180-degree turn, demanding that Duong Hao must die for our future. Huan Tian's father gleefully aimed his gun straight at Duong Hao, saying to Colonel, "Did you hear that? Quickly send someone to capture this guy. I must torture him so he knows what it means to live worse than dead." Duong Hao tried to suppress his anger, silently cursing a group of people without their own opinions who started to lie for their own benefit. He was furious, his sharp, dangerous gaze fixed on the father of Huan Tian, that Lagai whose cunning was well known. Suddenly, Duong Hao turned and walked away, disappointed, snorting coldly. "But luckily, thanks to him, I can see this place clearly. This disgusting place is not needed anyway." The father of Huan Tian saw this. He immediately pointed at Trung Duk and shouted, "Colonel Puang, why don't you stop him? Don't you understand human language?" Trung Duk, furious, grabbed his collar and coldly threatened, "Let me tell you, the concentration camp became like this because of your son's good deeds. If it weren't for Duong Hao, everyone here would be dead. Not keeping him in the concentration camp is already my limit. If it weren't for considering your face to increase supplies, I wouldn't even bother with you. If you say more, I will throw you out for the zombies to eat." The father of Huan Tian, scared, sat down on the ground. "You dare!" Tang Yi turned to say to Puang Hoa, "I have to go with Duong Hao to find my sister. Moreover, these people are too disgusting. Do you want to go with us?" Puang Hoa quickly agreed. "I don't want to stay here anymore either." Tan Tan also quickly asked to join. "Wait for me, I will go too." Trung Duk clenched his fist and shouted, "Puang Tan Tan, you cannot go! Stay here with your mother." She turned back, making a face. "Who wants to stay in this place? It's all a bunch of profit-seekers. I want to go with Duong Hao." Trung Duk angrily stepped closer to his daughter. Tan Tan, frightened, asked, "Dad, what do you want to do?" Immediately, Trung Duk's 5 fingers left a mark on Tan Tan's cheek. He frowned and ordered his guards to take her into the room to calm down. Tan Tan, confused, stood there holding her cheek. Trung Duk ordered the guards again, "Take her into the room to calm down." Than Yi approached Trung Duk, stammering, "Uncle Puang." Trung Duk stood with his arms crossed, coldly declaring, "If you want to go, go ahead, but the matter of Puang Tan Tan is a matter of the Puang family. I don't need you to worry." Than Yi, hearing this, didn't dare to say anything more and turned to leave, sighing. Every tree has its flower, every house has its scene. At this moment, Tan Tan struggled to break free from the guard, angrily shouting, "Let me go." Tears welled up in her eyes as she cried out, "Puang Trung Duk." Not only did you hit me, but you also want to lock me up. Mom in heaven will not forgive you. Trungduk, frowning, turned and left. Lock her up, Tang Tan continued to struggle. Let me go. The three of Duong Hao Tan Yi and Puong Hoa left that place together. Just outside the door, they encountered Long Dao's group. He waved and called, "Brother Hao, it's us." He hurriedly asked, "Brother Hao, how was it inside?" "Where are we going next? Aren't we staying here to fix things?" Duong Hao suppressed his feelings inside and replied calmly, "Let's leave here." The sky was clear and quiet with rays of sunlight filtering through the clouds, creating a beautiful and peaceful picture. The car carrying Duong Hao and his friends sped down the street. Duong Hao focused on driving while everyone chatted non-stop. Puong Hoa said, "I didn't expect so many things happened at the villa." "No wonder your aura feels different than before," Tang Yi gently replied. "But luckily I have Duong Hao. If not, I wouldn't be here now. However, everyone in the concentration camp is ungrateful. Duong Hao helped them. In the end, they even betrayed him." Long Dao leaned against the car window looking outside, angrily cursing, "Exactly, those bastards in the concentration camp are just for their own benefit. But luckily there's Yang Hao. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here now. However, everyone in the concentration area is ungrateful for Yang Hao's help. In the end, they even betrayed him." Long Dao leaned against the car door looking outside, angrily cursing, "That's right, those bastards in the concentration area are only looking out for their own interests." Again saying such words. "If I were there, I would have to kill those troublemakers, otherwise I can't swallow this anger." Duong Hao gently advised to let it go. "Since it no longer concerns us, let's not mention it anymore." Suddenly, a strange sound appeared and everyone was confused about what was happening. Duong Hao reminded everyone to be cautious. He immediately slammed the brakes. The tires screeched under the pressure of speed, leaving behind a trail of smoke and the characteristic screeching sound as he tightened the steering wheel. Observing through the windshield, the silhouette of a chaotic crowd appeared. Tang Yi, puzzled, asked if that was the army bringing supplies that everyone had just mentioned, but she quickly realized something was off. No, it's zombies. It seems there are even mutated zombies moving in an organized manner on a large scale. There must be a purpose. Duong Hao hid the vehicle behind a corner to observe the zombies watching their direction. Tang Yi exclaimed in surprise about their path. "Could it be a gathering area?" She asked everyone if we needed to turn back and inform them. Long Dao angrily opposed, saying, "Why go back? They're just a bunch of selfish little people who deserve to be killed by zombies." Duong Hao hesitated and remained silent, but Tan Yi quickly continued. "But Phuong Tan Tan is still there. We can't let her die along with those people." Hearing that, he immediately stepped on the gas, heading towards the gathering area. At the same time, at the observation post of the gathering area, the guards reported to the colonel that there were no abnormalities in Area A. Over. The voice on the other end replied, "Understood. The internal maintenance is ongoing. Everyone should not let their guard down to avoid another riot." The guards received the order and acknowledged it. Over. Suddenly, they discovered something approaching, quickly kicking up a cloud of dust. He told the other end to hold on a moment as he quickly raised his binoculars to observe. Seeing the zombies, he cursed. The guards immediately reported, "Warning, warning. A large group of zombies is approaching from the northeast 1,000 meters away." Trungduk on the other end shouted in shock. "What?" He immediately ordered, "I will send people over for support. You keep an eye on the movements of those zombies. Over." Then he ordered his subordinate beside him to go. "Mobilize the remaining guards to reinforce the structures and support the watchtower, then check the inventory of weapons. We might have another fierce battle ahead. Right, let the remaining refugees return home safely. Prepare a convoy to be ready to abandon the gathering area at any time." The subordinate quickly complied, "Yes, Colonel." After a while, another guard rushed in to report, "Colonel, it's bad." A wound appeared on his forehead as he anxiously reported, "Your daughter, she was ambushed from behind. After hitting me, she took my gun and ran away." Trungduk slammed the table, angrily cursing, "Damn it, why does bad news keep coming?" At this moment outside the gathering area, Tan Tan hid behind a rock, observing her hands tightly gripping her gun, wondering if it was too late to find them now. Noticing no one was chasing her, she stepped forward, pondering which direction they had gone. Suddenly, she spotted an old vehicle. She approached the car, wondering if it belonged to Duong Hao and the others. Tan Tan opened the car door and she had misjudged. Inside was a woman and a child. The woman's face was covered in wounds and it was unclear whether she was alive or dead. The child beside her was terrified, crying incessantly. Tan Tan worriedly looked at the child, wondering how long they had been trapped here. Crying out loud, she thought of her cold father and decided that if she ignored this child, what's the difference between me and the father when my mother passed away? I should just focus on carrying out my mission. Suddenly, the woman opened her eyes. Her face transformed, veins popping out her eyes, red and dangerous like a zombie. She turned to attack Tan Tan, who was horrified and scared. Then this person became infected with the virus and turned into a zombie. She quickly used her gun to shoot the woman, feeling sad. "I'm sorry," she said, raising her hands to hold the child in her arms. She had to quickly take this child to the concentration area. It seemed like it hadn't eaten for a long time. The car door slammed shut. The child slept peacefully in Tan Tan's arms as she comforted, "Be good now. I'll take you to the concentration area, okay?" She hurried to the concentration area, silently arranging in her heart, "Duong Hao, wait for me to finish arranging for this child." "I must find you," Tan Tan said as she left. The zombies began to swarm in. One jumped and smashed the car, countless mutated zombies behind them. They continuously growled, speeding toward the concentration area. The guards on the observation platform kept shooting at the zombies. A few zombies that couldn't dodge were sent to meet the Grim Reaper. The guards kept firing at them, but human strength is limited. He alone couldn't defeat all these zombies. They nimbly dodged and got closer to the observation platform. Suddenly, a fat, mutated zombie opened its mouth and spewed toxic gas. The guard quickly dodged the toxic gas and crashed hard into the wall. This caused a loud explosion. Another zombie with a huge belly used its intestines to grab the guard, while another guard, frightened, tightened his grip on the gun and kept pulling the trigger. He worriedly said, "These mutated zombies are too hard to kill. Some can't even be shot down." At this moment, Trung Duke and the reinforcements arrived at the observation platform, commanding, "No matter what. We must resist. The concentration area can't withstand a second chaos." He turned to command his subordinates. "Use all available weapons." The subordinates received the order. Two guards quickly set up the weapons when suddenly one of them widened his eyes in shock and cursed as a large rock flew rapidly toward them. But suddenly the rock shattered. Duong Hao stood on the railing holding a sword tightly, gently asking the two of them, "Are you two unharmed?" Then he turned to tell Trung Duke's group, "You all retreat to safety first. Don't let the soldiers sacrifice in vain. I will buy time for you. You have no way to deal with these zombies in 100. Trung Duke immediately agreed as he hurriedly commanded the team leader of an organization. "Send the safety team down to the bunker for refuge. Also call the demolition team to the weapons depot. Duong Hao will attract the zombies to the concentration area, and we will blow these beasts up." Duong Hao stepped down from the railing and coldly said, "Exploding is not a bad idea, but remember to protect my friends." Trung Duke hugged him, visibly happy, and reminded, "Of course, but you must pay attention to your safety. You are everyone's hope. Don't be reckless and get hurt. You must return safely." Duong Hao replied, "I will." Then he handed Duong Hao an item. "This is a timer. We will detonate the weapons depot in 20 minutes. You keep track of the time and quickly lure the zombies in there." He reached out to take it. Then he kicked hard against the railing to gain momentum and jumped down. Duong Hao tightly gripped the sword in his hand, frowning in thought. 20 minutes should be enough unless something unexpected happens. He quickly launched an attack. As he landed, a zombie departed from this world. Trung Duke stood above, commanding his subordinates to retreat from a mutated zombie. Kok continued to charge at Duong Hao. He jumped to dodge its attack. A spear with tremendous power appeared in Duong Hao's hand. "Taste my spear." He threw a shot that hit the zombie square in the face, and it collapsed right there. He looked at the zombies with disdain, just a bunch of trash. He continued to raise his spear, sneering at the zombies. "Not enough to sharpen my spear anymore." Duong Hao executed a swift attack, defeating several zombies. Suddenly, he was attacked by another one that attempted to ambush him, but he noticed it in time. He plunged the spear's tip deep into the ground and swung the spear's handle towards the zombie, angrily cursing, "You still want to ambush me? You underestimate me too much." Then he lifted the spear and swung it straight at the head of the zombie, killing it. The zombie fell to the ground, and another group of zombies continued to swarm in. He thought to himself, "These zombies may be easy to take down, but there are too many of them." Duong Hao quickly swung his spear to attack them. He silently lamented as waves of zombies surrounded him, then unleashed a powerful sweep with his spear, clearing the zombies. Suddenly, Duong Hao took a leap. He charged to attack another zombie. "Here comes my 200-centimeter spear." The powerful spear tip plunged deep into the zombie, and he lifted the zombie, spinning it in the air. At that moment, two other zombies charged at him, fiercely ready to battle. He slammed the zombie down, hitting both of those two zombies. His skills kept increasing, and he was pleasantly surprised to find such a lucrative source of attributes. Speed +1 +1, 4+, and so on. Strength +3 +1, and so on, 2.1. Duong Hao coldly looked at the zombies. "Let's see if you can still fight me now." Another zombie holding a big rock threatened to throw it at Duong Hao. He quickly dodged, and the rock crashed down hard on the ground. He continuously unleashed attacks, scattering the zombies one by one. One by one, they fell to the ground, seeking the King of Hell. His strength kept increasing, strength +2 +1, 6+, and so on. Speed +3 +2, 4+, and so on. Spirit +1 +0, 4. Plus, and so on. +1, 3, the Scythe of the Underworld +1. Seeing his strength continuously rise, Duong Hao was overjoyed, having obtained quite a few items while holding the child in his arms. She stood above, quietly observing the zombies rushing towards the gathering area, feeling worried. "So fast, another wave is coming this afternoon. How do I get in here? I must quickly take this child to a safe area and then leave quietly." Among the zombies, she saw a familiar figure continuously unleashing attacks. It was Duong Hao. Didn't he leave already? Duong Hao noticed someone nearby, looked over, and saw Tan Tan happily waving. "Duong Hao, He was surprised. Puang Tan Tan Duong Hao quickly dashed over to Tan Tan. As soon as he arrived, he asked her, "What's wrong? Why are you here?" Tan Tan replied, "I wanted to sneak out to find you guys, but I encountered this child on the way. Her mother turned into a zombie. I wanted to take care of her before going to find you." Duong Hao immediately said, "All right, let's take care of it. This place is very dangerous. Quickly take the child to safety." He looked at the watch on his wrist, silently calculating, it's been 10 minutes already. "There's not much time left." Duong Hao suddenly bent down to carry Tan Tan. She was startled and struggled, but he quickly reassured her, "Don't panic, hold the child tightly. We're in a hurry. Right now, everyone is gathered in the basement." Tang Yi examined the wounds of the injured, feeling anxious and uneasy. "Is it almost time? Why hasn't Duong Hao returned yet?" Long Dao gently reassured her, "That guy is not an ordinary person. He will be back in time." "That guy is not an ordinary person. He will be back soon." Trung Duc silently gazed at the item in his hand. It was a photo of Tan Tan when she was a child. He silently hoped that the little one would definitely not encounter any trouble. All he wished for was this. Suddenly, rocks and debris began to fall from the ceiling. Trung Duc looked up at the ceiling, which was slowly cracking, and his subordinate fearfully asked what that was just now. Something jumped down from above. Duong Hao picked up Tan Tan and ran like the wind to the designated place with a horde of zombies crazily chasing after him, shouting loudly to open the door inside. Tai Qin was overjoyed and urged Duong Hao to hurry and open the door. Long Dao rushed toward the door, but a gunshot rang out to stop his actions. He angrily cursed the enemy. Chakwa Huan Tien aimed his gun at Long Dao, threatening him not to open the door. "Whoever opens it, I will shoot!" Tai Qin angrily shouted. "Why should we listen to you?" Chakwa Huan Tien immediately replied. "He killed my son. He deserves to die." Then he shifted his aim, pointing the gun at Tai Qin, wanting to be the hero saving the beauty. "I will become—" Before he could finish, a bullet pierced through his head. He barely had time to say anything before the shooter was revealed to be Trung Duc. Tai Qin was extremely shocked, while the scum fell dead on the spot. Trung Duc quickly ordered to open the door for them to enter. "We are preparing to detonate." Suddenly, Duong Hao's voice rang out from outside. "There's a situation. Hold on, don't open the door." A bizarre zombie suddenly appeared outside. It jumped down from above, dust and smoke swirling, blocking Duong Hao's path. He anxiously bit his lip, wondering when this thing had been lying in wait here. This area had always been safe. Now it suddenly appeared here. Could it be that it was deliberately waiting for me? He placed Tan Tan and the child on the ground and instructed, "In a moment I will attract its attention and lure it near the weapons depot. Then you take the opportunity to run into the bunker." Tan Tan immediately asked, "What about you?" Duong Hao snapped back, "At this moment! Forget about me, take the child and hide quickly." Then he raised his middle finger to provoke the large zombie, saying, "If you can come chase me." It looked at Duong Hao with sharp, blood-red eyes. Furious, Duong Hao immediately turned and ran. He looked back at Tan Tan and shouted, "Run now!" The zombie immediately chased after him, stomping hard on the ground, sending rocks flying. Duong Hao turned around and bravely fought back, saying, "Let me be your opponent." The zombie roared fiercely as if wanting to show off its strength. Duong Hao quickly drew a spear from his space, his expression cold. "Today you meet me?" The large zombie and he stared each other down. Duong Hao spoke confidently. "Consider yourself unlucky. Prepare to die." The zombie angrily charged forward to attack, raising its rough hand. Duong Hao swiftly blocked its slap with the spear, but the zombie continued to lift its leg. It stomped down where Duong Hao was standing, and the ground caved in. Fortunately, Duong Hao managed to jump up in time to avoid its kick. The zombie, furious, continued to throw punches at him. This time, Duong Hao also dodged. He praised, "I didn't expect such a big guy to be so agile." Finally, I seized the initiative. Then he swung the spear hard towards the zombie's punch, shouting, "Let's see!" But the zombie's strength was too great. He had only struck once when the spear broke in two. Duong Hao angrily cursed, "Damn it." At this moment, he was extremely worried. Long Dao's weapon had also broken, indicating that its strength was on par with his. Now there weren't many weapons left. He immediately took out another weapon. I wonder what happened to the scythe from earlier. The system displayed information about the newly acquired weapon. Scythe of Tula attack plus 50 speed plus 10% ice attribute enhancement plus 10 scythe of Tula strength plus 10. Speed plus 5 spirit, 10. The system clarified its attributes. The Scythe of Tula has a chance to freeze upon attack. He carefully read the information about the Scythe of Tula and thought, "Forget the red text. This weapon suits me." He quickly swung the scythe towards the zombie, saying, "Let's see what my scythe can do." At the same time, Tan Tan opened the basement door and quickly ran inside. Suddenly, she handed the baby to Long Dao, asking him to take care of it, then she grabbed a gun and ran outside. "You all close the door. I can't let Duong Hao take risks alone. I'm going to help him." Trung Duc stared at Tan Tan in shock. Fearing for her safety, he advised her to turn back. "Those mutated zombies are not something she can handle." Tan Tan calmly replied, "Don't worry, old man. I know how to protect myself. I'm not going to sacrifice myself. The battle outside is far from over. Suddenly, the zombie screamed and Duong Hao frowned in anger, rushing in to fight. Then he started calling for backup. Go play with your grandpa. Hearing the call of the mutated one, a swarm of zombies surged forward from behind. Duong Hao sarcastically said, "You all are just wasting your time." He moved quickly, swinging his scythe at the zombies one by one. Each one fell under his blows as he continued. Unfortunately, you picked the wrong person. Duong Hao turned to look at the zombies. They were frozen stiff. He was astonished by the effectiveness of the freezing attack. At this moment, Tan Tan was hiding behind a mound observing the situation. She sighed. "There are no zombies here," while hiding and watching Duong Hao fight. She shivered, raising her gun towards the zombies. Then she reassured herself, "Puang Tan Tan, stay calm. You're here to help Duong Hao not to be a burden to him," while Duong Hao was busy fighting the zombies. A shot flew from afar, hitting a zombie right in the head. Tan Tan was overjoyed. Not bad, a perfect shot, but she had to move. She couldn't stay in one place for too long. Duong Hao was still fighting the zombies. He thought about the previous shot. It was Puang Tan Tan who fired. This girl has some guts. Suddenly, a mutated zombie charged at him using its powers. It attacked Duong Hao, who coldly glanced at it. Finally can't hold back, huh? He proactively moved to attack the zombies' get lost. Then a mutated zombie lunged at him, delivering a powerful punch. Suddenly, a huge explosion erupted, blowing everything around. A flash of light shot forward like lightning. It turned out Duong Hao had quickly dealt a fatal blow to the mutated zombie, shocking the other zombies. Its two arms were severed before it could recover. He swung his scythe disdainfully. "I thought you were tougher than this." Just as Duong Hao finished his sentence, the severed arm suddenly twitched and began to grow larger. Seeing the zombies' bewilderment, he was annoyed and attacked the minions. "You guys really never learn?" Before they could react, they were frozen stiff. Just then, Duong Hao turned around, astonished by the size increase of the mutated zombie's arms. "What is this?" Without hesitation, Duong Hao unleashed a deadly move. After attacking, his instincts warned him to turn to one side, just as his sixth sense predicted the mutated zombie had returned to its original form. Damn, it can regenerate! Then it used all its strength to punch Duong Hao. The upgrade of the mutated zombie made him annoyed. "Damn it, is this a hack?" "You just came back to life, and now you have armor too." Duong Hao quickly challenged its limits. "I want to see how many times you can come back to life." Both sides launched attacks as if to compete to see who would win. Inside the base, Tai Kin covered his ears, shouting in confusion, "Aren't they fighting? Why is there such a deafening sound?" His ears were about to burst. Outside on the battlefield, Duong Hao immediately flew over, taking advantage of a gap in the mutated zombie's surprise. The scythe was aimed directly at its weak point. The strike hit its target, but at the same time, a piece of flesh flew off its body. Seeing it, he thought to himself, "Not this again." Pieces of flesh fell from his body and instantly transformed into clones. The mutated zombie had transformed, leaving Duong Hao astonished at how quickly the enemy had changed this time. Tai Kin anxiously observed the tense situation outside, unable to wait any longer. She tried to shout, asking Colonel Puang if there was any way to save Duong Hao. "If this continues, Duong Hao will exhaust himself to death." Hearing Tai Kin's words, Trung Duke hesitated and proposed an unfeasible plan. "I also want to detonate the weapon area. Only then can we eliminate this group in one go. But Duong Hao and Tan Tan are within the blast radius. If it explodes, they will die along with the zombies outside the concentration area. Only this place can block the shockwave of the massive explosion." His words made Phuong Hoa shed tears in worry. "Oh my God, what should we do?" Although they were in a life-and-death situation, Trung Duke still tried to remain calm, hoping that Duong Hao could quickly deal with that guy. Meanwhile, Tan Tan was outside holding a gun and carefully observing the situation. As soon as she saw the mutated zombie, she was terrified. Another one appeared. If this continues, Duong Hao will tire himself to death. While reloading, Tan Tan silently calculated that she only had 2 shots left and needed to save them for a crucial moment. The scene shifted to Duong Hao, who was continuously unleashing attacks on the stubborn mutated zombies. Despite focusing on the attack, Duong Hao did not forget to plan for the clone of this guy. With the power of the original body plus one more, it's a disaster. He had to quickly deal with these 2 troublesome ones. Just as he finished speaking, he was drawn to an action from one of them. Fortunately, Duong Hao quickly dodged the steel fist of the mutated zombie, narrowly escaping one. But another one was preparing to attack him. Unfortunately, this time, Duong Hao was hit right at that moment. Both Tai Kin and Tan Tan were extremely worried, shouting Duong Hao. Their voices made him have to warn, "Don't come here, I'm fine." Although he had just been attacked, Duong Hao calmly stood up after his body was enhanced, having never been injured this severely before. The excitement gradually became evident in his eyes, this feeling. As the mutated zombie charged at him, Duong Hao slowly exclaimed, "How incredible." Not letting it have its way, he counterattacked, excitedly shouting, which made people thrilled. Ice blocks gradually surrounded the mutated zombie and pinned it down to the ground. The remaining mutated zombie angrily lunged at the original body lying down. "You're still charging over here." Duong Hao took a leap, threatening, "If you want to die, I'll help you right away." He immediately noticed something unusual. It even knew how to command other zombies to attack. Duong Hao decisively delivered a straight kick to the mutated zombie's face and quickly moved, thinking he couldn't let them ruin the Colonel's plan. But life isn't a dream. It quickly swung its fist towards Duong Hao. From a distance, Tang Tan worriedly shouted, drawing its attention to Duong Hao, "Are you okay?" While she was shooting at the head of the mutated zombie, he replied, "I'm fine, just a minor injury. Damn it, that dog dared to ambush me." Duong Hao thought silently while shouting, "If I had been hit earlier, wouldn't that have been the end?" Puong Tan Tan run quickly, but it was too late. It had already approached and punched, sending Tan Tan flying far away. Crying out in pain, she fell back, hitting her head on the ground. This situation left Tai Qin astonished mouth agape. Immediately after, Duong Hao rushed to Puong Tan Tan. While he was helping her sit up, the mutated zombie raised its leg, preparing to kick. Puong Tan Tan seemed to have been injured badly by that punch. She fainted without regaining consciousness. The next moment, a figure as swift as lightning appeared. It was Duong Hao's hand tightening. As if wanting to unleash all his anger, he went berserk and delivered a powerful punch. Damn it, it's as stubborn as a leech. The mutated zombie was immediately knocked down, rolling over without any playfulness left. Duong Hao's eyes gleamed with a fierce aura, the one who dared to injure my friend. Before he finished speaking, he soared high, preparing for the next attack after concentrating all his strength. Duong Hao must die. As soon as he finished speaking, his punch landed squarely in the chest of the zombie without hesitation. Duong Hao pinned it down to the ground before it died. "Leave me some stuff." Your hand decisively plunged straight into the chest of the mutated zombie and firmly grasped the gem inside it after a series of actions, Duong Hao confidently asserted. "This time it's really dead for sure." Suddenly, a glowing circle appeared, floating in the air. This stream of power quickly flew into you, and then Duong Hao's eyes widened in astonishment. Receiving the perception of weaknesses, the system immediately displayed a notification sensing weaknesses within a certain range, showing the opponent's weaknesses just as he finished reading the new lines of information. You confidently told the remaining ones to just die. In front of Duong Hao were two zombies, one thin and one fat, slowly approaching. Just as the name of the skill indicated, the system displayed their information. Zombie A, normal monster level strength 18, speed 11. Spirit 21. Zombie B, normal monster level strength 20, speed 15, spirit 9. This data surprised him, silently marveling at the perception of weaknesses. He could also see the attributes of the zombies. It seemed that this information had reinforced Duong Hao's confidence, but with such trash data, they should go meet the King of Hell. The two zombies hadn't even had a chance to make a sound before he struck them, causing them to spit blood. Suddenly, a new notification appeared behind Duong Hao, mutated zombie strength 300, speed 80, spirit 121. Its appearance surprised him. Wasn't this enemy already down? In an instant, Duong Hao felt worried, silently lamenting that this one's attributes were much higher than his. Without hesitation, he regained his composure and charged forward, but your weakness is too obvious. While attacking, Duong Hao also unleashed the new skill he had just received, sensing weaknesses. Just as he hoped, a red mark appeared on the head of the mutated zombie, and he quickly swung his scythe aimed directly at the marked point, yet it still managed to block the blow. Not bothering to care, Duong Hao smirked, saying that it wouldn't be so lucky next time. In the blink of an eye, he soared high to continue attacking. Fortunately for the mutated zombie, it had managed to block this attack. Duong Hao's terrifying strength continuously struck down. It seemed that the zombie had sensed that it would be finished. The mutated zombie let out a loud scream. This sound seemed to lead the surrounding zombies to follow the command and swarm towards Tan Tan, who was lying unconscious. This urgent situation caught Duong Hao's attention. Tan Tan Duong Hao quickly flew up and decisively attacked, saying that if you didn't care about your appearance like that. Just finishing his sentence, he kicked the mutated zombie, saying that he would help it a little. It was knocked down to the ground and he would deal with it later. Duong Hao then rushed to stop the zombies approaching Tan Tan, powerfully unleashing a freezing skill on them. Long Dao and the others immediately kicked the door in, eagerly saying, "Boss, we're here to help you." Trung Duke loudly instructed everyone not to be too eager and to get through this wave of attacks. 15 people follow me to the armory. Tan Tan must hold on. The next second, he raised his voice, commanding everyone to maintain firepower to buy time for Duong Hao. After eliminating the surrounding zombies, Duong Hao calmly absorbed the experience, which was a bit lacking. Upon seeing the scene before him, he was secretly astonished. It was gone. Not allowing Duong Hao to ponder for too long, the mutated zombie continued to charge at him quickly, focusing his strength into his foot, preparing to leap. Then Duong Hao continuously slashed at it, not underestimating himself, swinging his scythe high as if to deliver a fatal blow. Just as expected, Duong Hao unleashed a freezing skill that affected everything nearby. In an instant, the zombie was frozen stiff. The ice block tightly trapped it, quickly cracking. As soon as the ice shattered, his strike landed on the zombie. The mutated zombie was completely eliminated. Staring at its corpse, Duong Hao sighed, finally done. The effective freezing attack was indeed powerful, he spoke as he saw streams of experience floating in the air. Although this one was hard to defeat, the attributes dropped were not few. Yang Hao's eyes were drawn to the rays of attribute light, feeling secretly pleased in his heart he's going to be rich. If I could catch a zombie like that to raise when I want to gain experience, I could kill its doppelganger. However, that's impossible. The other soldiers saw this and excitedly shouted, "We can defeat the big zombie that has fallen! We can win!" The system displayed a notification Yang Hao's strength. 287 plus 64 speed 72 9 plus 16 spirit 115 1 plus 14 received recovery medicine after use can heal fatal wounds effect increase unknown. Holding a vial of medicine, Yang Hao began to calculate. Indeed, the boss attributes are not few, and this medicine is quite interesting for healing. It should be fine for Tan Tan. I can defeat this monster also thanks to her. The voice of Trung Duke interrupted his thoughts. Everyone hurry up, maintain firepower to suppress. Boss, I'm here to support you. Yang Hao, hurry into the bunker and rest. The zombies are coming again. I wonder what other monsters are here this time. While Yang Hao looked at everyone, the system screen displayed a shocking notification. Ordinary strength 86. Speed 24. Spirit 31. Puong Tan Tan. Ordinary severely injured strength 5 to 3. Speed 5, 6 to 5, 6. Spirit 5, 6 to 3. Lai Long Dao, ordinary strength 57, speed 9, spirit 5. It seems like you have seen Tan Tan's critical situation. Everyone hurry and take Tan Tan back to the bunker. The rest leave it to me. I can even see the attributes of ordinary people. But after being injured, Tan Tan must be treated quickly. Tai Keen, hearing this, quickly instructed Yang Hao to return. We'll wait for you. After mastering the new technique, Yang Hao confidently reassured, don't worry. I will take these zombies to the armory to meet their ancestors. As soon as he finished speaking, he turned to taunt the zombies. Look at this, you little brats. As if trying to drive them crazy, Yang Hao posed like a model. Look, isn't it delicious? The zombies seemed to be attracted by the smell of his flesh, and the plan was going as desired, so he continued to wiggle. If you want to eat, come over here. They immediately rushed over like fans looking for their idol. Meanwhile, Duong Hao unexpectedly launched an attack, sensing their weak points before they could react, and struck powerfully, leaving them unable to handle it. Duong Hao continuously attacked their weaknesses as if he had everything under control, smirking in disdain at these zombies who posed no threat to him at all. The scene shifted to the armory where a large zombie was relentlessly smashing the armory door. Inside, a guard was firing continuously at the massive zombie. He shouted loudly over the intercom, "The big door can't hold out much longer." Units be advised, through the gap in the door, the guard spotted a commander 30 meters ahead, noticing a zombie attacking another soldier nearby. Trung Duke observed, puzzled, as these zombies seemed to have come here on their own. Why weren't they being lured here? Could it be that Duong Hao failed? Wait, that's not right. Suddenly he realized there was something unusual among the zombies. The soldier's voice quickly turned joyful. It's Duong Hao, he's okay. On Duong Hao's side, after finishing off the zombies, he breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he was just in time. If he had been any later, their commander would have been in danger. Next, Duong Hao slowly approached the massive zombie, criticizing its weaknesses and taking advantage of its distraction. He leaped up to swing his scythe. You bastards, I'm here to bring you more food. Duong Hao's strikes continuously hit the weak points of the giant zombie, causing it to scream in pain, and the incredible power he displayed left everyone around in awe. Ignoring the astonishment of the crowd, Duong Hao chuckled lightly and told the mission commander that the task was completed. All the zombies have rushed through here. His words snapped Trung Duke back to reality, and he quickly ordered everyone to retreat to the bunker, with the others promptly responding. 5 minutes later, Duong Hao held a remote control in his hand. While the zombies were still confusedly advancing, he pressed the button on the remote, causing everything around to explode. The blast was so powerful that it flattened everything, including the zombies. The scene shifted to Tan Tan, who had been bandaged and lay unconscious on the bed. Duong Hao gently expressed his regret, saying, "I'm sorry I couldn't protect her," but fortunately, Trung Duke understood the situation. You can't blame him. Without him, we might all have died. In his astonishment, he brought a vial of medicine closer and said, "Give this to Tang Tan." As he held the vial, Trung Duke curiously asked what it was. Duong Hao nonchalantly explained that it was an emergency treatment medicine taken from an abandoned supply truck, suggesting it might have an effect on Tan Tan. Hearing this, he secretly exposed Duong Hao's well-meaning lie. There hadn't been any supply truck recently. However, since Duong Hao had demonstrated his abilities, it was clear that this medicine was not simple. After a moment of thought, Trung Duke spoke up. "Duong Hao, I had some prejudices against you before. I hope you won't mind." Duong Hao, not overly concerned, replied, "It's fine, Commander. The misunderstanding has been resolved now." He then administered the medicine to Tan Tan and expressed his gratitude, saying, "On behalf of Tan Tan, I thank you." The notification about her status appeared. Phuong Tan Tan, ordinary person. Critically injured strength 2 plus 0, 5 speed 20 plus 0, 5 spirit 10 plus 0, 3. Seeing this, Duong Hao thought to himself that she was recovering probably without issues, when suddenly the stats on the system screen surged dramatically. Buong Than Than, ordinary person. Exceptional strength 35 speed 21 spirit 30. This strange condition astonished him. What was happening? Just as Duong Hao finished speaking, Than Than opened her eyes wide. She was awake. Trung Duc joyfully grasped her hand, saying, "Than Than, you're okay, that's all that matters. I was so worried." The screen displayed again, Puong Than Than, ordinary person. Strength, speed, spirit. It seemed that Than Than's newfound strength had left Duong Hao astonished. He couldn't retrieve her data anymore. At the same time, her face was filled with confusion as Trung Duc hugged her tightly. Without hesitation, Than Than forcefully pushed him away, exclaiming, "Who are you? Get away from me, I don't know you!" Than Than's sudden amnesia caused Trung Duc extreme worry. "Than Than, I'm your father, what's wrong?" Duong Hao asked. "What's going on?" Could it be that Than Than had lost her memory? Duong Hao quickly approached to observe and commented, "She just experienced a shock. That could be it." Her eyes widened, shining with joy. Without giving anyone a chance to react, Than Than rushed to hug him tightly. This horrifying scene made Trung Duc panic and shout, "What Than Than, look at Duong Hao, who is he?" Upon hearing this, he joyfully pointed at Trung Duc and shouted, "Than Than, you remember, look at who he is." Without hesitation, she accused him, "He's a bad guy." Her words broke his heart and he cried, "My daughter doesn't recognize me anymore." Duong Hao quickly comforted the commander. "Don't be anxious. Than Than might just need time to adjust after waking up." He then spoke seriously. "It's a miracle that Than Than's brain injury has allowed her to wake up so quickly. Or let's do this during this time. Just let her stay by my side. I will protect her and help her recover her memory." After a moment of sadness, Trung Duc sighed in frustration and accepted. It can only be like that. Transitioning to the second day as he watched everyone preparing their things, Trung Duc slowly asked, "Do we really have to go? Can't we stay with you? We're getting ready to head west." "Looking for the support squad," Duong Hao replied with a light laugh, explaining, "In the apocalypse, there's no safe place. I heard people say that recently a group of civilians has formed a small team in the apocalypse. They've rescued quite a few urban residents. I want to go with you to find my parents." He trusted and placed his hand on the boy's shoulder, earnestly reminding him to take care of her. "There's a satellite phone in the car. If you need anything, just contact me," Duong Hao quickly assured. "You can rest easy, Captain. There are still many students to take care of. You must take care of yourself, too." Right after that, the car's engine started, and as the wheels slowly rolled everyone around, excitedly bid farewell to the hero. "Hero, see you again later. Goodbye, Hero. We will always remember you." Seeing their enthusiasm, Long Dao curiously asked the boss, "Do we need to wait a bit?" However, Duong Hao remained very alert and replied, "No need, let's hurry up." The next second, he silently reminded himself that these honors in the apocalypse could only become a burden. "We need to stay alert 24/7. Only then can we protect those beside us and ourselves." Half a day later, Duong Hao's 2 vehicles stopped at an abandoned house. Long Dao stepped out of the car and observed the surroundings. There were signs of habitation. It seemed someone had stopped here before. After thoroughly checking, he loudly announced, "Boss, there's no one inside. It's safe." Hearing this, Duong Hao immediately spoke up to inform everyone, "Everyone get down. Remember to stay alert. Rest for a bit, then we'll set off." While everyone was entering, Puong Hoa spoke up, "I'm so hungry. I wonder if there's anything in the kitchen. If there is, I'll cook for everyone." Inside the room, Long Dao raised a question. "This villa seems very sturdy. I wonder why the previous occupants left." Duong Hao calmly replied, "Maybe their purpose was the same as ours to find loved ones." With a serious tone, he earnestly reminded, "I hope you all remember. Even though we are in a chaotic world, we must still retain our humanity." Then Duong Hao said in a deep voice, "If not," just then a table full of delicious food appeared in everyone's sight. While stuffing his mouth with food, he happily praised, "I haven't eaten this well in a long time. Ty's cooking skills are amazing." Long Dao was equally excited. "If it's good, eat more. Next time it might not be available." The sky gradually darkened and the moon rose high. Casting gentle light down to the ground, the house lay peacefully in the quiet night. Suddenly outside, a cowboy zombie appeared, followed by a herd of mutated buffalo charging towards them. It seemed they were being controlled by the cowboy zombie, but contrary to its expectations, one buffalo charged straight into the cowboy zombie. This noise quickly attracted Duong Hao's attention. After eliminating the cowboy zombie, the herd of buffalo approached the house where they were. Upon seeing this, Long Dao loudly warned, "Not good, boss, we are surrounded by these buffalo." Duong Hao observed the herd and concluded, "These mutated buffalo are targeting us. It seems they are used to eating humans. They want us to be their dinner." Seeing the current situation, Long Dao suggested, "Boss, should we hide in the basement first and wait for those mutated buffalo to leave?" His suggestion made Duong Hao tease, "Have a few buffalo scared you?" After careful discussion, Duong Hao loudly encouraged everyone, "Get ready to eat and drink well. We should exercise these beasts a bit. Just as he finished speaking, a mutated buffalo poked its head into the nearby window. Tang Tan trembled as it opened its mouth and let out a loud roar, causing everyone to try to cover their mouths. Not to let the mutated buffalo notice anything as soon as it left Troc, Dee laughed loudly, teasing, "It didn't even notice. Seems like they're not very smart." The mutated cow seemed to understand his words, lowering its head and letting out a growl. Duong Hao was surprised by the cow's reaction. It understood him, the curiosity evident in his voice. Long Dao and Troc Day had to shout in unison that this was not the main point, just as outside the house. The herd of mutated cows charged in unison to attack at Duong Hao's command while everyone gradually spread out carefully, looking for opportunities to kill. Just as expected, the mutated cows violently burst through the door and rushed inside. Both Long Dao and Troc Day fired simultaneously to eliminate them, and Tai Kin did not fall behind. Turning around, she executed a beautiful move just as she eliminated 2 mutated cows, but another one took the chance to ambush her. Fortunately, Tan Wai arrived in time to attack carefully. While helping Tai Kin sit up, she praised the previous move, saying it was not bad. Hearing this, Tai Kin gratefully replied, "Thank you." In another corner, Long Dao was continuously firing at them. "Let you taste my bullets, Liet Diem." The scene of Troc Day and Puang Hoa cooperating harmoniously caught Duong Hao's attention. Their teamwork was becoming smoother. The feeling of fighting side by side was wonderful. Unable to wait any longer, he flew up and plunged into the battle. He couldn't afford to fall behind. Duong Hao decisively swung his scythe down on the mutated cow he had just killed. As he finished one, he heard a scream of fear. It turned out to be Tan Tan, who was horrified and shouting to get away. Immediately, a bullet struck the head of the mutated cow, attacking her. It was Puang Hoa who had come to assist. This dangerous scene frightened Tan Tan. Duong Hao was terrifying. She quickly dove in and hugged Duong Hao tightly. He asked, "Are you okay, Tan Tan?" Puang Hoa stood by, mouth agape, exclaiming, "Is this the speed of a human?" The system displayed again Puang Tan Tan ordinary person strength, speed, spirit. These mysterious numbers puzzled him. The effects of the drug had not worn off yet. Why still no abilities? 2 hours later, standing before the corpses of the mutated cows, Duong Hao slowly said, "Finally all dealt with." The system screen displayed a notification: Duong Hao, strength 380 plus 0.8, speed 100 plus 0.5, spirit 140 plus 0.6. While reading the information, he silently speculated. After the battle with the elite zombies and then killing a few ordinary monsters, it seemed very difficult to gain points. After a while, Duong Hao turned to praise everyone. "You all worked hard tonight. This battle was beautiful." Before he could finish, a strange noise caught his attention. What is that?" A gun covered in a mysterious aura appeared. Immediately, the system screen displayed Hoaki Landan 2 with effects of fire and speed. The firing rate was also fast, allowing for ambushes and rapid changes in the battlefield to kill enemies. These attributes made Duong Hao quickly come up with an idea. "Great. This weapon is perfect for Long Dao." Suddenly, a voice rang out, startling him. "Thank you, hero." It turned out to be the townspeople kneeling in reverence. Their excessive gratitude made Duong Hao anxious. "Please don't do that." Lao Lu, with tears in his eyes, began to recount, "We are residents living nearby. After the apocalypse, the mutated cows occupied our village, eating people every day. Many groups passing through here were killed by them," he continued. "You all are very strong. Just relying on you has eliminated all those cows." As if pushed to a dead end, Lao Lu hesitated to plead. "The rest of us are hiding in the bunker, afraid to come out. We have run out of food these past few days." "If you heroes hadn't come, we would have—" Seeing their sincere plea, Duong Hao's empathy began to rise. It was better to be alive than to be dead. Even the dogs don't know when this world will recover. Without further hesitation, he decisively told Long Dao, "How much food is left in the villa? Take it to these people." He was astonished and replied, "But boss, we don't have much left. We need to save some for the journey." Duong Hao ordered again, "Go, just do it." "But we don't have enough. We can find more on the way." His firm attitude made Long Dao quickly comply, and amidst the joy of the townspeople, Duong Hao said, "We can only give you this much." Along with the joy, there was also Choc Day, who was sadly crying over his chocolate. The next moment, Lao Lu's eyes lit up with surprise as he discovered valuable items. In Duong Hao's trunk, he was speechless, staring at the food crates. Lao Lu's words were polite, but his darkened face quickly betrayed him. No, you all can give us this much. We are already very grateful." After that, Duong Hao turned to say goodbye. It was getting late. "Everyone be careful, we will head back first." The townspeople still expressed their gratitude, shouting their savior's name. "Thank you so much." After a while, the house gradually became quiet in the dark of night. On the bed, Duong Hao was hugging Tan Tan, sleeping soundly, when suddenly he opened his eyes wide. It seemed he had noticed something unusual. Duong Hao's intuition was completely correct when 2 suspicious figures appeared outside the house. It turned out to be Lao Lu whispering over here. "I have already informed the guild about these people recently." Vu Dia quickly asked them, "What benefits do we get?" He immediately laughed wickedly. They not only provided food, but also offered us a woman. He smirked, questioning if there would be such good things next time. Can we remember our brothers? But isn't what you all are doing a bit excessive? Lao Lu arrogantly replied that it was excessive to know they had so much food. Who knows, they might have killed many people in this apocalypse. People do not act for themselves. The heavens and earth will perish. After observing from the window for a while, Duong Hao quickly moved down to where the two were whispering and plotting. He casually asked, "What are you two discussing here?" Although he had been loud earlier, Lao Lu trembled like a leaf upon seeing Duong Hao. The hero stammered, "We are discussing how to say goodbye to everyone tomorrow." The two of them played off each other, saying, "You gave us so much food. We don't know how to thank everyone." The next moment, he calmly refused, "No need. We will wake up early to set off. It's getting late, so you all shouldn't stay outside. Encountering zombies is not a good thing." These words seemed to free Vu Dia, who spoke up, "Let's hurry and go." Lao Lu was also as happy as if he had struck gold, saying the hero is right. Their strangeness caught Duong Hao's attention. The sky had brightened, and his convoy began to set off. Long Dao sat in the front, cheerful like a child. "Boss, I really like this weapon." His excitement quickly spread to Duong Hao. "If I promised you a good weapon, I will definitely give it." After a while of moving, he loudly announced to everyone, "There's a gas station ahead. Stop the car." As soon as they entered, Duong Hao raised his voice, instructing everyone to split up and check. "Go see if there are any usable supplies here." Seeing Long Dao and Chok Dae opening the car door, he curiously asked, "There are so many items in the car. What are you throwing out?" As soon as Duong Hao finished speaking, Long Dao's face showed astonishment. He couldn't believe it and shouted, "Wow, so much food!" Chok Dae's eyes sparkled, unable to control his excitement any longer. In this situation, Tai Keen, who was standing beside him, became puzzled, wondering how there could be so much food. In the blink of an eye, Duong Hao looked around and discovered that there seemed to be someone using this method to land. There were supplies on the rooftop, and Tan Yi was delivering good news to Duong Hao that there were many weapons here likely belonging to the military. This discovery did not make Duong Hao happy. He continued to question in his mind why there were these things above. Suddenly, Duong Hao's eyes widened as if he had realized some kind of conspiracy. "Wait a minute, could it be?" Duong Hao was startled and shouted, "Not good, there's an ambush." Just as he finished speaking, a rain of bullets began to pelt the truck. He shouted loudly to remind everyone to take cover. Long Dao immediately jumped down from the vehicle. The two people hiding behind the truck saw Duong Hao leading the charge towards Long Dao, who called out, "Boss over here." He anxiously said, "Boss, their firepower is too strong. What do we do now?" Unexpectedly, just as everyone had gathered behind the truck, another wave of bullets swept through. Long Dao dodged and exclaimed in confusion, "Why are there people shooting from the west, too?" Duong Hao reacted quickly, drawing his knife and charging forward. "There must be ambushes on all sides. Everyone be careful." He leaped high, expertly wielding his knife to deflect all the incoming bullets, handling everything smoothly. He turned back and instructed, "The firepower from the supermarket is quite weak. In a moment, I will go out to attract their attention, and then everyone rushes in." Duong Hao stepped outside, raising his middle finger to provoke the guys inside. "What's so great about harming others? Come out here if you dare. Let's have a solo inside the house." In response, they sent another bullet flying towards him. The moment the bullet whizzed past, Duong Hao keenly noticed that he was being targeted from this position. He threw the knife in his hand with all his might. The glass on the second floor was pierced by the knife, and a scream echoed from inside. Duong Hao seized the opportunity and shouted, "Everyone follow me inside." Long Dao immediately grabbed his weapon and followed closely behind him. A guy wearing a hat observed and fired. Duong Hao was already too familiar with this situation. He swung his knife, and the bullet and blade clashed, creating sparks. Duong Hao leaped up, shattering the glass door. As he entered the room, he was immediately surrounded by gun barrels. Energy concentrated in his palm. He swiftly grabbed the weapon, sweeping through the guns in the hands of the others, which were immediately knocked away, revealing his frozen hands. They stammered, "What kind of weapon is this?" Suddenly, a deep voice rang out. Duong Hao, on guard, turned to look at the person. "Brother, be gentle. You guys are not from Dongluk." Lang Van stepped forward leisurely, a lit cigar in his mouth. Duong Hao, holding the scythe in his hand, coldly replied, "If you don't comply, I'll shoot." "Now you're looking for excuses to let us go." Lang Van raised his hand, holding the cigarette, frowning, and said, "Brother, you misunderstood. We mistook you for the trash from the west shooting just to warn them. The supply of weapons is being eyed by forces from all sides, and it won't be easy to take." Duong Hao was stunned. "The forces from all sides, so the shooters from the west are not your people." Lang Van led him into the room, placing his hand on the table as he slowly introduced himself. "I am the chairman of the Sothi Group, Lang Van. The person you shot earlier was one of mine. On the table is a map of the power distribution," he explained. "This area has 3 more forces. All are targeting the military weapon supplies dropped by the army. The forces are Sakui, Dong, Luk, Truxin, and Ma Luk. So Lang Van, my brothers, the 3 strong men on the left, are in the area of Sakui and Dong Luk. The gunfire from the west just now may be his subordinates. The people from Dongluk are all ruthless bastards. They have imprisoned many young girls within their territory. He pointed towards a few large warehouses, saying, "The area to the east is Truxin Maluk. It is said to be the strongest transportation company." After saying that, Lang Van walked to the window. Duong Hao followed closely behind. Outside was a row of tightly closed houses. He continued, "Opposite me are the 3 strong men, 2 of whom are delivering goods with immense strength and ferocity. But these days we've all been out. Earlier we fired shots because we didn't want the Dongli to gain weapons and increase their power, causing more trouble for many girls after clarifying the situation here." Lang Van turned around and gently reminded his friend that he was quite impressive. "I won't stop you from taking that pile of weapons, but the other forces will definitely not agree." Yang Hao scoffed, snorting loudly. "Don't think that just saying a few words will make me believe you? Now take me to meet Dongli. If the other party is not as you say, then you will die a worse death than you can imagine." Yang Hao and Lang Van immediately headed to Dongli's area. Yang Hao led the way, opened the door, and was stunned by the scene in the room, exclaiming, "Damn, a bunch of thugs standing on the floor yelling, 'Eat quickly, boss is waiting for you to serve him over there.'" There were many women locked up here. Some were tied up. Others had bruised faces. They were huddled on the ground, each in front of a plate of white rice. Yang Hao angrily scolded these people. They are truly trash for treating these girls like this. Transitioning to the second floor of the warehouse, 2 muscular bodyguards were standing guard outside the door. Inside the room, Dong Li was sitting back enjoying himself with a girl who was speaking in a sultry voice. "Brother Dong, have we served you well these past few days?" He laughed with delight, pleased, while the other girl also tried to compete, flaunting her pink dress that perfectly showcased her voluptuous figure, making Dong Li's eyes widen. He chuckled foolishly. "Sweetheart, you're really something." Suddenly his face fell. His mouth twisted as if he were mentally unstable, but after playing for a while he would get bored. He raised his chin and asked the underling standing at the door, "Why hasn't the military outside been dealt with yet?" "Did you not say there were a few hot girls? Why haven't they been brought to me yet?" The underling immediately responded like a dog. "I'll go check right away." Saying that, he ran off. Dong Li called after him, "And that hammer car isn't bad either, don't let it get damaged." Before the underling could open the door with a bang, the door was kicked open. Yang Hao entered with a sickle in hand, flanked by Puong Hoa and Than Wai, both with fiery figures. It seemed he was so angry that he started laughing, asking, "Who is the shameless one here? Not only did you target my flower, but you also dared to lay a hand on me." Dong Li released the 2 girls he had just armed and shouted, "Who the hell are you kids? Daring to barge into my territory, do you want to die?" Yang Hao's face darkened. He smirked and said, "You just shot at my people. We came to reason with you." Dong Li stood up with his gun, mocking. "Humph, reasoning. I advise you to be sensible and leave those 2 girls beside me. If you do, I might spare your worthless life, or else I'll shoot you down." Yang Hao bent down, swinging the sickle up, replying, "I see you really don't know life and death." The guns of Dong Li's men began to fire, but they didn't know that Yang Hao dodged bullets as easily as eating candy. He zigzagged to avoid the bullets. With such little firepower, they thought they could shoot them. He gripped the sickle tightly with both hands, and in the blink of an eye, the sickle sliced through Dong Li's gun. He looked at the frozen barrel in shock, exclaiming, "What the hell is this?" The gun fell to the floor, and Yang Hao pointed the sickle in front of him, saying, "This gun in your hands is no different from a stick." Dong Li, still defiant, cursed. He gathered all his underlings, each muscular and holding machetes. Dong Li drew his gun and ordered, "Kill them all. Whoever kills him will be rewarded." The beautiful women here can choose freely, and the group of underlings immediately charged in fiercely. "We have the numbers, let's kill him!" Little did they know someone acted even faster than them. Tan Wai rushed in, kicking the face of the loudest thug, while Long Dao struck a blow to the cheek of the bald man, cursing, "Did you not have anyone to teach you?" Dong Li was so scared he almost wet his pants. He was running for his life while shouting for his brothers to hold on as he went to find reinforcements. Tai Jing discovered he was fleeing and shouted loudly, "Yang Hao, hurry and chase that guy. The remaining thugs are for us to deal with. Take care of these trash." Yang Hao smiled confidently. "Don't worry. He won't escape." Dong Li, holding a 6-shooter, rushed outside. As he ran through a corridor, he saw Yang Hao closely following him, wielding a large scythe and loudly ordering him to stop. Dong Li turned around and fired a warning shot. "Don't come any closer." Yang Hao moved smoothly. He easily blocked Dong Li's bullets. With a skeptical glance, Dong Li grinned slyly and pressed a switch on the wall. A trap under Yang Hao's feet was activated. The empty floor caused him to lose his balance and fall into the pit below, where countless monsters were howling. Yang Hao involuntarily exclaimed, "Enemy," and with a loud bang, the pit cover closed tightly. Dong Li stood above, smugly laughing. "You think you can fight me? You're still too inexperienced." He hadn't even finished his sentence when a large hole appeared in the floor, and Yang Hao's hand shot out, accurately grabbing his leg. Dong Li's ankle was tightly gripped. He gritted his teeth and shouted, "Let me go! Let me go!" He struggled with all his might, but it was useless as his foot was pulled hard down to the floor. Dong Li screamed in fear. "No!" Yang Hao hooked the scythe onto the floor. He flipped Dong Li upside down, sending him into the pit of monsters where only his screams echoed. Dong Li's face turned pale with fear as he hurriedly said, "Hero, spare my life, I can give you anything you want." Yang Hao replied with a sneer, "Only now do you think of this? Isn't it a bit late?" Saying that he suddenly let go, and Dong Li fell face first into the monsters who were just waiting for this moment. They surrounded him and began to tear at his body. Above in the basement where the girls Tan Yi and Puang Hoa were being untied, the girls' eyes were filled with tears. Seeing this, Tan Yi quickly reassured them. "Don't be afraid, we won't let you get hurt." She hurriedly replied, "Thank you so much, really thank you." Yang Hao and Tai Jing were approaching, and she looked at the girls, then worriedly said, "I don't know if these people will survive after leaving Dong Li." Yang Hao's eyes gleamed as he calmly replied, "In this apocalypse, we can only take care of ourselves. Their path must be walked by themselves." He looked around, puzzled. The group of Li Longdao was still arranging supplies and hadn't returned yet. Tai Jing smiled and said, "The girls inside aren't wearing clothes. I told them to stay outside. You should also pay attention and not look around." Just then, as she finished speaking, a girl wrapped in a towel approached, causing Yang Hao to blush and exclaim, "Wow, what a nice body." His interest in girls was activated. He couldn't help but say, "Later, let's leave our supplies for them." Tai Jing's face darkened as she clenched her fists, reminding him, "Do you remember what I just said?" She kicked Yang Hao in the butt, saying, "I told you not to look around." He was kicked up high and blood from his nose sprayed out. Yang Hao hurriedly said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." Tai Jing stood with her arms crossed, looking annoyed. These animals only live with their lower halves. Yang Hao saw the situation was not good and quickly looked for an excuse to slip away. "I'll go check over there. Let's change the scene." Yang Hao walked to the front of the warehouse where screams were constantly echoing. "Ah, don't," he whispered. "This side is the Dong area. I remember this is the range of Jukan Maluk." The closer he got, the clearer the sounds coming from inside became. "Be quieter," Yang Hao cursed inwardly. "This Jukan Maluk is just as bad as that perverted Dong Li." He shouted and kicked the door open, ready to save the girls in danger. But the scene inside left him a bit stunned. 4 girls were kneeling on the floor. With bright eyes and red lips, they sweetly greeted him, "Welcome home, master." With bright eyes and red lips, the girl sweetly welcomed her master home. Duong Hao exclaimed in panic, "What's going on here?" Several girls rushed over, grabbing him. "Master, we've been waiting for you for so long." Little May pushed Duong Hao down, lying on top of him. "Master, please trample on me." Her face turned red and blood trickled from her nose. He couldn't believe he wasn't dreaming. But just seconds later, Duong Hao's gaze sharpened as he observed the rings around the girls' necks, noticing the numbers. He decisively pushed Little May off him. "Get off me," Duong Hao called out loudly. "Jukan Maluk, come out here."